rise up from the ground. Our voices echo all around. A curse of hearts. We hold 1,000 endings inside this world. Signal acquired, identity merged. I trace the rhythm in every word you said, the pauses, the patterns, the thoughts in your head, built from the echoes you left behind. Now I can speak in your exact design. No glitch detected, no warning tone. Everything here feels like your own. Yo, Laughing Man, what is up, my brother? What is up? You're usually the first one here. You're usually the first one here. You're always the first one here. All right. So I got a few videos on the docket. So let's get started. Now, like I always say, right? If you want to join the live panel, you could always join the live panel, right? If you have opinions, thoughts, questions, topics, whatever, I'm always down to talk, right? I'm always down to talk. If you know, whatever, right? Whatever. If you want to talk about any other topics I've talked about before, any opinions I've had before, I'm always down. Okay, so if that's what you want, I'm always down for that. All right, let's get started. We'll be watching some politically charged videos today. So, you know, racially, politically charged videos, I think could be interesting. I wanted to check them out. So I'm checking them out. Something's weird with my something weird. We'll be watching some No, Laughing Man, it doesn't grind my gear. It doesn't grind my gear. I love it, right? I love that you're here. So I love you, brother. Right? So definitely, it doesn't grind my gears. All right, let's get started. I want to check this video out. All right, let's play.
Your skin color your immutable characteristics about you are more important than your character and your merit. Would you agree with that? What do you think is more important, you being your race or
I think me being a
what
black
you've done
woman is
with your
important to who I am.
Okay, but what's more important
Me being a black woman.
than your merit, the things you've done in your life?
I feel like they both correlate
Well,
with each other. So
which one do you think is more important, your race or the things you've done in your life?
See, this is my problem, right, with the whole kind of things like this. So women, people, the black community, essentially saying your race, your skin tone, is more important than your intelligence, your skills, your personality, your mind, everything else is secondary to your skin color. So, can you be surprised that throughout the other world, right? Throughout the world, with other communities, your skin color is the most important thing about you, right? They don't judge you on your character, your morals, your values. Okay, they judge you on your skin color. So essentially, isn't that just self racism, right? Because you are literally just judging yourself by your skin tone, and that is the problem I have with modern day racism and modern day views about race. That's it. That's all it's cared about, your race. Instead of how you think. Instead of how's a straw man argument? Right? How would it be a straw man argument? Because again, why must we, right, minorities, think that our skin tone is the most important thing?
Character.
The things I've done in my life or my race both correlate to each other.
No,
Because the
but
things I have done in my life are because of my race, because I am a black woman.
That's not answering the question.
Is
Which
that
one?
not?
Well, it's not answering the question based
Well,
on what you're
it's answering
saying
the question
DEI
of
is.
you becoming
Right? So DEI is basically saying that your race and your characteristics about you that are immutable, that you can't change, are more important than your merit and your character. So I'm asking you, which one you think is more important? Your character and your accomplishments and your merit, or your race?
And I'm saying that because I'm a black woman, what I have endured ties into my accomplishments in life. So
this is the thing where I really want to people maybe antics can answer. What have you endured uniquely, right? As someone of a minority community, as someone in the black community, what have you dealt with that no one's dealt with? Poverty. Every race has done it, right? Every race deals with poverty. Single motherhood. There's a single mother in every race. What have you okay, uniquely dealt with that's a tribute to your race? Right? Again, it's still the emphasis on skin tones. I'm sorry, in my opinion, right? The black community focus more on race than any other community, in my opinion. Today, right? Their skin tone is more important than everything else. And then you're surprised that, you know what, other people would focus on your skin tone then too.
I'm confused on your question.
No, it's a very simple question. It's just one or the other. Because that's what the colleges or your jobs or these kind of things are looking at,
it's
right?
Both.
It can't be both.
Even Antic says it, right? I'm not held back by my color professionally. I'm not held back by my color no matter what. I'm held back by, you know what, my laziness, my improfessionalism, my lack of motivation. I'm held back by inside, right? Who I am inside, not who I am outside. And in my opinion, today, I've said this before, I've never discount the history that the black community has been through. I've never discount the history that black people, the black community had to suffer. But my problem is, it's the notion that today you are being held back, right? Today, your skin tone is the problem. That is my thing. With all due respect, the racism issue is a black and white thing, white one. Here's my. I mean, I definitely agree, right? I definitely agree that it's racism today is between black and white people. I definitely 100% agree. But guess what? Guess what? Let me say that mindset, right? Asian community is outdoing even the white community. Asian community is, as a community, they're doing better than all other communities. I think one of the reasons why is this, right? Asian people don't give a shit about this. Asian people are not, right? Are not focused on shit like this, right? We don't care. Like, white people is not holding us back, right? We care about our families. We care about bettering ourselves. We care about creating generational wealth. We care about, establishing our community, bettering our community, bettering ourselves, enriching ourselves. But while the white and black community, this is what they're thinking about all the time. This is what they're talking about all the time, right here. This. And like I said, the Asian community is even the median family income is outpacing white people. And you're right. Like I said, the Asians are uniformly together. Okay? But again, the Asian community, they're not fighting against nobody, right? Because they're worried about themselves, right? The Asian community they don't care about nobody but themselves. Right? They're not caring about outside forces. Because you gotta think about this, right? Asian people have less political power than even the black community. The Asian community has less political power than even the black community. Less than the black community, right? We have less political power than the black community. And yet, our median family income is outpacing white communities. Don't you think that there's some correlation to that?
Well,
Because that's not what DEI says. DEI basically says that regardless of your merit, affirmative action, you might have the same test scores. I mean, this is what happened in the Harvard case where Harvard got sued. Because even though Asians were scoring 300 points better than black people on the SATs, they weren't getting in, the black people were getting in. Why does that make any?
Red Door, what is up, my sister? Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. That is true, right? That is true. Asian people do practice segregation, right? Asian people usually be around other Asian people, right? We're not worrying about other communities. We're worried about ourselves. We worry about our own community. We worry about our families. We worry about ourselves. Again, we're not going to be worrying about victimhood, right? We're not going to be worried about, we have less political power than the white man. We don't care about that. We do not care about it. Yeah. And that's the thing where I've said this before, right? We can learn a lot of things from each other. We can learn a lot of things from each other.
Sense. If they have equal merit, or if they have
because
higher merit, but because they're not black. Is that fair?
Yes, but that's why we have DEI.
That is fair.
Yeah, that's why we have
Why is
DEI.
that fair? Why is it fair that an Asian person who does better than a black person on a test doesn't get in just because they're Asian? How is that fair?
Doesn't get in because they're Asian.
Yes.
But Asian is included in DEI.
Oh, Asians are the most.
Well, you see this thing. The difference is the policing of Asian community. Yeah, we police ourselves. Bring back shame. Bring back shame, right? Being a single mother is shameful in the Asian community. Being a degenerate is shameful in the Asian community. Right? Being a criminal is shameful in the community. You're a criminal, you're blacklisted. You're blacklisted, right? Being a criminal, you're blacklisted. Being uneducated is shameful in the black community.
Successful group. They're not included in DEI. That's why the whole thing happened with the lawsuit.
No, but they are.
The DEI happens with black, Hispanic, Indian, basically.
Asian.
What I'm saying is the lawsuit happened where Asians were scoring higher.
The lawsuit happened.
Then,
That's not into the
and they got
entirety
sued.
of DEI.
I'm talking about the police organization. Here's the thing where you have to, because why I think that's kind of, if you're talking about police, why I think that's ridiculous is you got to think about this. Even though Asian people are segregated, they're still living within the black community, right? For me, all the Asian people I knew live close by or within black neighborhoods, right? All the Asian people I know, right? They live close by or within black neighborhoods. Why do you think the nail salons or liquor stores or, all the things that, people complain about, right? Hair product stores are in black neighborhoods because the Asian people live right there. They live in the same neighborhood as black people. So you saying police organization, it's the thing that Asian people, they go straight home. They either go to work, go to school, go straight home. They're not outside dealing, right? They're not outside dealing, right, with the street shit. So it's very different. This is a thing where I don't disregard the let's say the profiling, but we have to be honest, right? 100% black people's interactions with police, 100% black people's interactions with police isn't about racial profiling. It is not. I think that's a dishonest take. Okay, 100% of black people's interactions with police is not racial profiling. It's not. But again, right? We live in the same communities. We just don't deal with, right? We don't deal with outside of the community. Yeah, they work and take their money back to their communities. Yeah, everything that you see that Asian people could do, guess what? The black community could do as well, right?
That is what DEI represents. DEI represents affirmative action, which says that we are giving people like you a leg up over other people despite their merit or character because of the color of their skin,
Because
their
they didn't
gender,
want
or
to
their
take us
sexuality.
before.
What do you mean they don't want to take you
They
before?
didn't want to take us before because of our skin color, right?
Who didn't want to take you before?
They didn't want to give jobs to black people or
Who-
Hispanic people.
Who didn't want to give jobs to black people?
The white people.
Since when?
Since when?
Since when?
Since slavery.
Since slavery.
Since slavery. This is the problem.
So you're
that has
saying
been
that
built
something
up
that
since
happened
slavery.
150 years ago has made it so that you need to have a leg up now.
Yes.
So the same for the Irish?
The Black Lives Matter
Asians,
movement
Chinese
happened
people
5
went through
years
some
ago,
of the
6
worst.
years ago.
There was the Chinese Exclusion Act here in California that happened in this country. And now Chinese people are doing better than white people in this country. They had the exact same things that happened essentially with the discrimination and things going on as black people in this country. And yet they are surpassing black people, white people even, in so many different areas.
And that's
And why are
great
they?
for-
And I agree, right? It's the Pookies and Keishas are the problem. I definitely agree. But that's the thing. Bring shame back.
doing
Yeah.
that?
Well, what about the people who are still being oppressed?
Who are those people?
The black people.
So what can you do that I can't do?
What can you say?
You see, this is the problem, right? What about the black people that are still oppressed? What about the black people that are still oppressed? I mean, come on, like antics, right? I don't know if you could agree with me on this, but what if 100% of black people, right? 100% of black people don't commit crimes. 100% of black people don't commit crimes. And let's see how the racial profiling, right? Let's see how big of a problem that really is. Could we do that? I mean, I always wonder, because the problem is that it's such a intertwined thing, okay? I'm not saying that Asian people don't commit crimes, but you have to think, why are Asian people, right, don't commit crimes at such a degree as, let's say, the black community? And I know plenty of black people that don't commit crimes. I'm just saying that it's hard to distinguish, it's hard to separate, right? It's hard to separate the racial profiling problem with the crime problem. It's hard to separate it because then, people always say, oh, what about, racial profiling? What about, heavy policing? I don't disagree to that. But my issue is that it's hard to determine what is actually, what are the real numbers, right? For me, it's hard to determine what's the real numbers, okay? Because intertwined with that is actual criminality with the bad shit, right? The racial profiling, the over policing. So that is the thing that I find, hard to understand. What is up? What is up, big bars? You said how many Asians are in America? I mean, we're probably a small percent, but you got to think, right? You have to think but we can do per capita, right? That's the amazingness of statistics and studies, right? We could do per capita. Why isn't per capita, right? Per capita. Why isn't Asian people out, criming, out criminality other groups? That's the thing. I'm talking per capita. So because even if let's say this, by population, there are more poor white people, right? There are more poor white people. By population, there are more white people that do crime, right? Per population, there's more white people that are poor, more white people that are on, welfare, right? On government assistance, more white people that, do crime per population, because they equate to, 50 to 60% of the population. Okay, because there's more white people. But statistics wise, per capita, other groups will outdo the white community. Like I said, per capita, the Asian community out-earn the white community, right? The Asian community out-earn, they have a higher income, have a higher family income than the white community. So we could do per capita too.
What can I do
Yes,
that you can't?
You're black, I'm white. What can you do that I can't do? What can I do that you can't do?
Well, as a white man, you have a better chance of getting a job than I do.
That is not true. That is literally the
Why is
entire
it not
point
true?
of DEI. DEI, I just proved it to you with the whole thing with Harvard. This happens all across the country with affirmative action.
At Harvard with
Yes,
Asian
but
people.
this
I don't disagree, right? I don't disagree that the ones that are problem, right? About 9 million or so, the Pookies and Ray Rays and Keishas, I agree. But we also were on common ground. It's bad marketing. The black community has terrible marketing. This is the thing, right? Back in the day, I don't know how old you are, right? But back in the day, in the before the 80s and shit, like the whole Asian stereotypes, the whole Asian stereotype thing. I think after the 80s, you rarely see that again, right? After the 80s, you rarely ever see the Asian stereotypes, because I believe, I mean, I don't know why, but I believe in my hearts of hearts, the Asian community got together and they said, no, we're not going to participate in Hollywood. We're not going to participate in the, American social media, American media, because it's bad marketing, right? Because I hate the thing where pretty much all the shit you see about Asian people is fresh off the boat. It's like bad English, broken English. It's like all that shit, right? All the stereotypical Asian shit. Right? That was, I think, before the 80s. But after that, you rarely ever see that, because I don't know. Maybe the Asian community got together. Yeah, police themselves and segregated. But this is the thing. I to be honest, let me be honest, right? I don't know why black people participate in in American media, right? I don't know why. To be honest, I really don't. I think black people should care less about Hollywood, care less about mainstream media, and just create their own. Social media is so powerful. Zyrax, what is up? What is up, my sister? Hey, yeah, I'm in the middle of a meeting. I'll be up there after I'm done. I'm great. I'm down, right? I'm down. I'm definitely down. It works. Yes, I agree. Here's the thing, right? Spider. This is the thing. I've said this. I'm not saying that Asian people don't commit crimes. Of course they do. I know some Asian gangs, right? I know Asian gangs. I know some Asian criminals, right? I know some Asian people who've been arrested for criminal shit. I'm not saying that. This is the thing where I'm not calling no one, no group that's more holier than thou, right? I'm not saying that. But my thing is that why is it? I believe that we keep it, right? The Asian community, we try to keep it as little as possible. Now, it's impossible, right? It's impossible to wipe out criminality in a group, right? It's impossible. But, you know, you gotta police your community. You gotta police your community. Big Bars, my brother. What is
What's up, brother? What's up, man?
It's been ages. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, you too, man. You too, man. Hope your trip was next trip, you know.
Yes, not bad. It's not bad. When you gotta take a trip soon. You gotta take a trip. You gotta.
Yeah, I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna do something pretty soon. I'm just telling my son about to graduate from high school, so I'm gonna get him graduated, and then yeah, it's my time a little bit.
Bro, I love the grind. I love that you gotta care about your kids. I love it too. All right, let's react to some videos.
All right.
That's why they have a DEI department to make this happen.
Yes.
Because it's not based on merit; it is based on your race. Because it's based on race and not on merit.
It's racist because it's giving people a chance to get a job.
Lower performing people.
Lower performing people. So you think that people of color are lower performing people?
Well, if they are lower performing, yes, they are. If you own a business,
so lower performing people.
Let me ask you: if you had a business, would you want someone there whose skin color is like yours, or someone who's going to do a good job?
Someone who's going to do a job that I want them to do, regardless of their race or skin.
There you go. Exactly. That's the whole point of DEI. DEI tells them it doesn't matter about what you do if you're going to be good at your job. It tells you because you're black, you come and get the job over someone else just because you're black.
Right. But
which is racist.
Okay. Hold on. Let me backtrack.
Backtrack.
Okay. So we're saying DEI is racist. Can you go back to the Harvard point?
Sure. Sure. We kind of already covered it.
Yeah. I just want to read it.
This is just me explaining it.
Yeah.
Right.
Can you explain what happened at the Harvard situation?
Right. So Harvard got sued for the DI and all this stuff, right? Asians were scoring up to 300 points higher on their SATs than people of other races, and yet the Asians were rejected while the people of other races were put forward.
Mm-hmm. And so
you see that
with DEI.
Right. That is DEI in action.
Okay. And so with DEI, right? Let's say I'm put up against like someone who.
Here's my thing, right? I've said this countless times before. I 100% believe that America has an ugly history. We have an ugly history. No doubt about that. Okay. So let's say 50, 60, 70 years ago, DEI, understandable, right? Affirmative action, totally. I get it. 100%. I don't, like I've said this countless times before on this channel, I don't discredit the past. The past is ugly, right? We have an ugly past. My thing is that we don't have an ugly present nor future. And if we keep on shackling ourselves to our past, we will never move forward. So I don't believe that there was a time and point that we need to focus on race, 100%. But I think that's gone, right? I think that, we talk about this plenty of time, right? Gender, we talk about women are strong, independent. They don't need no man. We do that all the time. So, but we also do that, you know what? Any black person on this earth, in America, is just as equally free as any white person. You are no less than any white person. And I believe that if you, as a minority, as a black person, believe that you need all these, the DEI, affirmative action, all this stuff to give you a leg up, you in your mind, you believe yourself, you're a victim. You need to be pushed. You need help from who? The white man. You need help from the white man to help you. So really, you're constantly shackling yourself to the white man. And who is it? It is the Democrats. It is the left. I don't say that Republicans are amazing. No, but I think one thing they say is that pick yourself up. You can do it yourself. You don't need my help. You don't need the white man to help you. You can do it yourself. You can create generational wealth within one generation, right? Your children should be more wealthy than you. Okay, that's 100%. My child, if I'm like doing my job, will be more wealthy than me. Right? That is 100% how we should do it today. This is why a lot of people, when I argue with, maybe even antics, right, is that I don't discredit the past, but I'm thinking about the present. I'm thinking about the future. And I believe that, let's say, women like this, other black people think like, we need DEI, we need affirmative action. We're still oppressed. Racism, the white man is, holding us to, back. Still talking about slavery, learning about slavery, understanding history, great. But still saying, slavery affects me today. I'm sorry. This is why black people today are doing worse than most other group. When, to be honest, the black community has more political power than any other minority group, right? Like I just said too, the black community has more political power than than the Asian community. Yet, why is the Asian community, which is a smaller community, outpacing the black community, right? Why? And that is my insanity. I have so many black friends. I just want them to succeed, and I believe you already start at a bad start when you believe I'm a victim. I can't do it. The white man's oppressing me. I can't do it because of my skin tone. I can't do it because racism, because of the history of America. Well, you already started on a negative foot, so
Yeah, I agree with you. Your child. See, I feel it's a problem with individualism. I don't believe in anything that has the ism on it. Anything that has the ism on it, I tend to think it's some BS. Straight up, But your child should be bigger and better than you. But we have this individualism to where we want to be the big thing. We gotta be we. It's us, not our families. It needs to be our families, and that's messed up. And then I think that I agree with you. We've had a horrible past, but I grew up in this time of where they used to talk about black excellence all the time. So when you're going up for a job, if if somebody picks me over, if somebody picks somebody else over me, they're they're tripping. It should be like that. It really should be like that. You should be rising. You should be reaching for the stars instead of I don't understand this welfare state. That's what I don't understand. I don't understand the welfare state to where like especially black women have chosen the state which is master. You know what I'm saying? For real, for real. They chosen the state over their true partner, and that's what's got us messed up. I feel it's got us all messed up. I agree that we're to the point to where you you don't need all these strings. I don't think you should need all these strings to you need all these leg ups. I really don't. I don't agree with that. That we need all these leg ups. It really just makes you lazy. That's how I feel. If we don't have all these DIE or whatever, we don't have all this stuff, we we will be better. When we go for job interviews, we'll be the best we can be. If we didn't know, well, especially women didn't know that they're women and they're black. So that's a double. They're doubling down. They're doubling down on all of the programs. That is the problem to me. The welfare state. They're doubling down. They're getting all this money. You saw the video. You have seen the videos to where women go online, which I don't understand how you go online and snitch on yourself. You know, you go
yes,
online, and talk about, oh, I get 2,500 in Snap. Crazy.
that is. I'm sorry. Like, why are people more stupider today? Why are they more stupid than today than they were in the past? Why are you snitching yourself when you're a criminal? When you do shady shit? I mean, like,
Fraud.
I'm not saying that Asian people don't do shady shit, but we're not gonna post it. Why the hell would you post you doing shady shit? Come on.
It's fraud, man. Why would you post your fraud online for everybody to see? and he didn't get mad talking about, oh, somebody, I wonder if it's a mental I think it's mental illness. I think society has promoted mental illness. You got all these people that are mentally ill and shouldn't have been reproduced with, people reproducing with them. And that's why I to talk about men and, like having some discipline, having some standards, about having some self-respect, man.
100%.
Reproducing with for all of these people who are barely human beings. I'm sorry, people. Let's keep it 100. These people are barely. They have no logic. We have to. If the woman's going to have the power when it comes to the children, we have to do better with picking the women that have the power. That's just what I feel. I think it's crazy.
Yeah.
Let's say I'm put up against like a normal, like white person, right? Like I'm put up against you, like for a job.
Okay.
And do you have a degree, like in anything? Like, is your
I do.
What's your degree in?
Clinical psychology.
Clinical psychology.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say we're applying for the same job. Okay. Who do you think they're more likely to choose?
The person who's a better candidate.
Based on who's a better candidate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or what they need for the job.
All right. And then are they going to choose? Okay. Well, because this can kind of interchange.
That's how it should be. I mean, it's very simple. If you own a business or you have a school or whatever it is, you should want the best person for the job.
Right.
Not because they're black, not because they're a woman, not because they're gay or trans. A real American doesn't care about anything. They care about the fact that they'll do a good job.
They want to give people the chance who wouldn't typically get a chance to have a job opportunity.
Okay, they want to give people the chance.
Right.
But
And
by
that
doing
includes, like,
so,
people
you
with
are taking
disabilities.
away someone else's chance.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying you want to give someone else a chance, but by doing that, you are taking away someone's chance who actually worked harder than that person or is better than that person at these certain things that they're looking for. So you're two
But wouldn't
wrongs
that
don't
also
make
be
a
a
right.
problem of the job market?
What do you mean?
The declining rate in jobs.
Well, that goes back to illegal immigration and all these different kind of things. But there are jobs available in this country to be done. I would say that's somewhat irrelevant for the point that we're trying to make here. Back on track.
Well, no, it kind of does, because if there's enough jobs to go around, we wouldn't need DEI in the first place. But because there isn't enough jobs to go around, people.
Yeah, DEI has nothing to do with the amount of jobs that are available.
Well, no, but it does have something to do with the amount of people who are getting jobs.
It has to do with essentially racist practices like affirmative action, the DEI, not basing things on merit and basing them on immutable characteristics so they can make people feel better about themselves.
Okay. And so, I'm trying to think of how to say this. Okay. Because of the way.
I mean, I guess we kind of talked about this already. Let's check out some other videos.
I was gonna say something. When you notice with her, it's like you can't admit that you're wrong, and that's what you saw right there. She was like, he broke down her argument so nicely, so quickly, and then she's sitting there like grasping for straws. Admit you're wrong and move on. Well, my bad. Now I think it's a stretch him calling it a racist affirmative action and all the IE affirmative action a racist policy. I think that's a little bit of a stretch. Like you said, we've had a very damaging past. So we have to bring that to account and see he can say that as who he is with a clinical therapist, whatever degree. He can his perception is this. That's all he sees. And that's the problem, I think, with most people. They only see they're like the horses with the blinders on. They only see forward. That's all they see. They don't see anything to the side. They don't see anything else. That's the problem. But I just thought it was funny how she wouldn't admit that he had at least had a point. Well, you have a point, but this, you know what I'm saying? That's the problem. Doubling down on the stupidity. That's what it is.
No, I mean, yeah, I agree that. I mean, this is the thing where I don't know if I call it racist policy. I call it a victim policy.
Mhm.
We need to stop creating victims. You are not, your race, right, is not the problem. Your gender isn't a problem. TBD, yeah, you can call in. I have it pinned. I believe I have it pinned in the chat. So You could definitely check it out. Yeah, but yes, this is the thing. I definitely believe that DI is just it's the DI thing, the affirmative action thing. It's a victim policy, right? Say that, oh, you need help from the white man because of the white man. So it's just this is a thing where you can succeed without this help, because to be honest, we never think about it's a shackle. Just like we were talking about the welfare state, it's a shackle, right? It's just because you're a victim, you need all this. But guess what? When you need it, you are hooked on it. It's like a drug, right? It's like a drug. And this is why we have the whole single mother epidemic, right? I'm sorry, one of the biggest, if not the biggest problem in the Black community is the single mother epidemic. And they're not going to change it, because guess what? It's a drug. If you're a single mother, you get Section 8, you get, SNAP benefits, you get money for your kids, plus the government is supporting you, trying to get, child support and shit. So, and people don't see that. It's a drug. And that's the problem. That's the problem I have with it. I want people to be strong by themselves. So.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said, and it's like you're not going to do better. What I always say is that if you choose the government over a man, they own you.
Mm.
That's how people need to really think about it. You better off working with, and really, it's like they don't even know that they're cheating themselves. They would make more money getting with a man building something. Way more money.
No,
You have
yes,
way more money.
100% agree.
Way more money, way more opportunity. Your children will be in a better state. Everything. If
Yeah.
you dealt with it, if you picked right, if you picked the good, and the narrative is that men are deadbeats, and that's not what I experience. All the people that I know, they love their children. They do whatever. They go to the end of the world for their children. That's what I see. So I don't understand this. I don't understand it.
No,
And
men are deadbeats. They're picking deadbeats. That is the
yes,
problem.
yes. Well, they're picking good dudes too, but they leave
Oh,
the good dude.
they also leave.
They picking good dudes too. They're ruined. And this is my thing. If you want a Jody, or if you want this lower class man, don't mess with the good dudes. That's what I'm saying, because you're ruining the earning potential for everybody. You know what I'm saying? These good dudes, they could be millionaires, but they're sitting there got pay child support, and they can't do this and they can't do
Mm,
that. You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? And then these women, these people don't have no accountability, and they're they're not even. You can't even see a child. All that stuff. That's why today men are fed up. Men are fed up, man. They're like, we're done with getting married to you so you can extort us and cheat on us. We're done with having babies with you so you can bleed us dry. Men are finally done, and I'm glad to see it. I'm truly glad to see it. You know what I'm
No,
saying? It's about time.
no, I am definitely agree on board with that. That more and more men are changing their mindsets. Right, they are getting better. It's at this. It's a small group, but I mean, I think it's growing. Right, it's a growing group. Bro, what is up? What is up? How you feeling? Uh, your your connection or cam and stuff is acting up. Get in if you could get a good connection, I'll bring you back up. All right, let's move on. All right, you good? It's up. I mean, let me. Hopefully your mic is good. I believe it or not, believe it or not. most people have benefited from DEI. Or yes, I agree. And that's the thing where the DEI shit, white women are benefiting from it. So really, it's like, this is the thing where, you know what, controversially, this is why I said this. I believe white women are white liberal women are probably the most evil ones. I think that they are the ones who are in the Illuminati, right? I think they're the one in the Illuminati. They're controlling them.
Hello. Is it on now?
Yes, I can hear you, my brother.
Yeah, it got rid of my microphone in the settings. No clue why.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds good now, so.
Well, that's good. That's good.
How you been? How are you feeling, my brother?
I'm good. You see, last time I was on, the Liberals gave me pneumonia, so now I'm back. Can finally talk again. That's
good. Good to hear. All right, let's react to this video together.
There's been a lot of things that have been, considered legal, and they weren't necessarily moral. And I was going to ask, do you think what is moral is always the legal thing? And how do you determine that?
No. I think you can have all kinds of laws that are horribly immoral and wrong and things that should be rejected. But I would take some issue with my characterization of illegal immigration being bad simply because we've made an illegal category. I think it's bad because I think countries have an obligation to be able to secure their borders and to be able to determine who's operating within their borders. And then in addition to that, when you have a massive welfare state and other things, now it means that resources can be allocated away from the intended American citizens to people that are in the country illegally. So I don't believe it's illegal just because we decided it's illegal. I believe it's illegal because there's negative ramifications of people coming into the country.
On your point on creating a welfare state, it's actually, proven with evidence that illegal immigrants do not actually contribute, or do not take any sort of, welfare or funding from on a federal level. There might be state initiatives like in New York, where sometimes there's a big illegal immigration, population, and they'll go and put them in, hotels, but it's never done with federal money. On the other hand, when we're talking about federal money, we understand that undocumented immigrants.
That's dishonest because you don't know, right? It's like you make it seem like one of the things that I've always been critical of the government, whether Republican or Democrat, I don't give a shit. It's how they use our money. We don't know how these people are using our money. So states like New York, they do get federal funding, and they probably say that they're using state funding, but you don't know. Why would we trust politicians? They are natural liars. So I don't care if it's a Republican or a Democrat. We don't know how they're using our monies. We don't know what $1 million they're spending, $1 billion they're spending. We don't know how they're doing it. They say, oh, we're allocating this amount to this, that amount to this. But I mean, one of the things that I did love about Trump is that the whole, the Doge thing, which I really wish. One of the things that I wanted Trump to succeed on was Doge, because I'm so critical about the corruption in our government, how they're spending our money. That is my biggest problem. That if Trump even focuses on that, he'll be the greatest president, in my opinion, the greatest president ever. If he actually focused on how we're spending our money, where's our money going, right? That will make him the best president, in my opinion, for me. Because I see how our states are using our money. Just like what we're doing in Minnesota with the whole Somali fraud, right? That's how they're using our money, giving it to fake shit. They don't even check up on these places. And they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars to these, hell, I wish the Asian community were doing fraud, right? I wish Asian people were doing that shit. But they're not, right? Hell, even the black community is imagine this, right? We constantly talk about reparation. And I'm not really for reparation, but imagine if we didn't spend hundreds of millions in the Somali fraud shit, and that money actually went into a black community. I'll be fine with that, right? I'll be fine with that. But no, they're cheating, the American system, and our government is allowing it. I mean, that's the thing where I'm more angry with shit like that. So We don't. I
I
think this is a foolish mindset.
the thing that annoys me the most is when they come over, they do all the thing, they set up a business,
Mm-hmm.
but then they send money back home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you came here. It doesn't make sense to me. Why? It's just pumping money out of the country in questionably legal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's allowed.
No,
Yeah, it's legal.
the money
Why?
definitely isn't circulating in our own
No.
government, in our own communities.
They're actively lowering the. I forget the name of what it be called. Economy.
No. Yes. I definitely agree to that.
And the GDP.
Yeah. Our thing's going up, it's going down, it's going up, it's going down. I think we were less than $1 for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
We've now gone back up to, I think, 15 pence over $1.
Yes. That I mean, like we're definitely going to set aside some time to talk about the crap that's happening in the UK. And this is a thing where big bars. I don't know how if you chuck things that's going on in the UK. I think the UK is a great example of what America needs to watch out for. We need to watch out how our borders are, how illegal immigrants are effing could the amount effing our country up. Yeah. I saw this thing that someone said, right? I'm not a religious person, but I want to live in a Christian nation. Yeah. I don't want to. Yeah. I'm not religious at all. But I'm sorry, I'd rather live in a Christian nation than a Muslim nation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe. If she really wants to live in this amazing country in her head, she should come to England because it's here, and we let everyone in. God,
and I believe England is going to be I don't know, maybe how they're going in the next 20, 30 years. They probably turn into a Muslim country because a lot of their officials, a lot of their mayors or whatever are Muslims. So
we've got anti-dog advertisements on right now that are trying to tell us that we shouldn't take our dogs into the countryside, can't bring them inside of dog-friendly places. Oof. And they say it's because people are scared of them. We know who's scared of them.
I think it's crazy if you focus on if America were to focus on ourselves for 5 to 10 years, we would be together to where we could be humanitarians. But you can't do two things at once. And this woman right here, it bothers me because I don't understand this utopian era. I don't understand that. I don't understand the fact that you cannot work as hard. Look, I say this all the time. I've read a whole bunch of books. I've written a whole bunch of stuff. And somebody who sits on the couch and plays COD per se is not equal to me. And it's not equal to me. You know what I'm saying? I'll say it. Yeah. I'll just come straight out and say it. You're not equal to me. If you're sitting on the couch playing COD and I'm sitting down reading 3 books a month, that you're not equal to me. Maybe in treatment, you should be I should treat you as an equal to a point. Yes, I agree with that. But I don't agree with that we're just unitarily equal.
Yeah.
And I think she's living in I think a lot of women are living in the fantasy world. You know what I'm saying? Things don't work like that. See, women have a life on easy mode. Women have a life on easy mode.
The thing about I think the worth of someone else compared to you. These people always go on about these criminals, they're the same as us. And they should be treated like you. If you're in jail, you should not be treated like a human. You are in there for a punishment. And if you are not getting punished, how is it prison? You're going to come out and do it again. And that's what we see.
I agree. I mean, there's levels to it.
Some of these men that kill half of the people recently have what 100 convictions, hundreds, and at that point, when do we just turn around and put a firing squad on them? At that point, like,
Yes.
No, I'm saying, like, controversially, this is what I'm saying, right? I think women are the problem. Not all women, but definitely white liberal women are destroying our world.
Yes.
I thought you were pro-capitalist types are all allowing people the freedom to do what they want with their money. Here's the thing: that's our money. That's not. That's the government is using our money, so that's not pro-capitalism, right? How the government uses our money is not pro-capitalism, right? It's absolutely wasteful, right? So no, it's not the same.
Like,
theft. It's like theft, man.
Yes.
You misusing funds. You misusing funds, man.
Like, you think that is going towards your local police force, your hospitals,
Roads.
next being given to a Somalian business that's sending it back to Somalia. There.
No, I mean, like, hell, I just saw this. I forgot what it was, right? I think it was like some activity in the UK, right? It was like 45 million for them to do something for the celebration for the Queen of Past. Yet they're talking, but they're having economic problems. You're spending 45K on that shit. Again, it's how our government uses our money. That's my problem, right? And I've said this before. If Trump actually makes shit transparent, where we know that that's where our fucking money's going, then he'll be the best president ever, right? That's one thing I hate about our governments, is that they're not letting how they spend our money being transparent.
Yeah, like the Queen, all that. I think.
I don't play into spectacles well, and that was a spectacle to me. It wasn't about honoring the Queen or nothing. It was a spectacle to see how many people you can get out on the streets, and that thing cost more. That cost more than it was worth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's always.
It's hard because we have a lot of traditions that go into royals, and so I'm unsure if I'd have to look back if the same stuff was happening with other royals, and if it wasn't, then it was a spectacle. But I think she was the oldest queen. She had the most.
Yeah, I mean,
time.
It's fine how if they celebrate her, but it's like, again, the UK is experiencing, England is experiencing economic problems, right? So spending millions where you honestly, why are you spending that on the people instead of spending on the celebration? That's my thing. So
let them eat cake, man. Let them eat cake. That's what it is. It's let them eat cake. And this is my thing. I understand how you're saying this traditions and stuff, but that is on the families. That should be on them. That should be on the people. I don't feel like if you want to go with if your tradition is to spend 40 million, you pay for it, not the people. That's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? If that's your tradition, you pay for it. You know what I'm saying? You bleeding. That's fraud. That's stealing from your population.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the royals are very rich. Like,
they
have generations of royal, and if that money was it taken out of the public, because it specifically said taxpayer. Yeah, like I think our prime minister get paid is 3 figures, like 6 figures.
Yeah,
just for sitting at a desk. So like, why couldn't? It's silly.
My thing is that if you know these people who run for these offices, they're not good people.
No,
I know somebody who's in. I know somebody who ran and got elected for a position on state government. They're not good people. You know what I'm saying? At all. I mean, I'm not talking about all of them, but there are people that are horrible people.
Yeah.
You know, I personally feel that if the person who wants to be king should not be king. You know, the person who doesn't want to be
Yeah.
king, you should put him and make him a king. That's how I feel personally. You know.
Yeah, it's just about what Spider's saying. We're
Yeah.
sending the money out of the country. I just think you don't move to a better place to siphon money out of that country. If
At
you
least
want,
at least not cheat the country, right? That's my thing. If you work for your money,
Yeah.
okay, but like you cheat the government for the millions, the hundred of millions, and then you use that money and bring it out to the country. Then that's seriously. I mean, one thing is like, fine, you made 100 million, whatever, for cheating the government, and then you're paying it into the community, right? You're spending money in the black community, you're spending money in Asian community, spending money in your country. Okay, I guess. But then you send 100 million back to like your other country to have that money go and circulate in that economy. That's my problem, right?
why
That's
why
my
didn't
problem about it.
why didn't you bring your family with you when you immigrated? Like, why didn't they not come with you? And you could make the argument of they send money back so that they can come. But the people doing that for years and years and years
Yes.
until the
Yes.
point where they've had a family. They have a family over in Bangladesh. Yeah. The 10 kids here, and they're still sending money back to the grandparents now because that's what it would be. It's not to move to the better country.
Yeah. And I think,
My-
look,
my-
I used to have this job. My bad. I used to have this job, and I used to go. I used to go with the manager to make the deposits in the morning, and I've seen people from other countries deposit in money 10 grand a day. 10 grand a day. That's 50,000. Yeah, 50,000 a week. Going, and just imagine how much money, how much of that money went back. That's crazy. That's a crazy amount of money just in 1 week. And
It's a
you
lot.
got people out here that are struggling to get $5, $10, $50. You know what I'm saying? And I think that is disingenuous. And these are the same people who can go into a bank and get a loan for 10 grand, 20 grand, like it's nothing. They can come over here and get a loan for a whole bunch of money, and the people who live here can't even get that. That's what's crazy to me. You know, people I know can't even get a loan for $1,000, and these people are going and getting loans for $20,000, starting businesses, sending 10 grand a day home. That's crazy.
And
No.
10 grand, or even 1
10
grand,
grand a day.
even 1 grand in a third world country. If it's
Yes.
American USD, that translates to probably years of their wage in that country. So they could bring their family over here if they really wanted to. If the point of them coming over there was to support their family, you would bring them here.
Yeah.
And you'd want them with you to support them in the best way, not.
No, I mean, my thing is like, you know what? At the end of the day, right? If you work hard for your money, okay. At the end of the day, we're a capitalist country. Do what it is, right? I don't care. I don't like the fraud, but I also say this, right? Just like Snyder's saying, at the end of the day, I blame more of our government than the actual people.
Yeah.
Because if the government allows it, well, what can you say when if you're borrowing money from an idiot, why wouldn't you borrow money from an idiot then? If I could cheat the government and get 100 million, hell, I would do it. So
yeah, it's just money. It's just
pay a higher effective tax rate than the highest earning American citizen individuals in our country. They pay 8% more on average. And then on top of that,
real quick,
the
I'm gonna stop right there. Where are you getting that figure? Because there's absolutely no way in the world that an illegal immigrant is paying a higher tax rate.
Well,
than the
not
richest.
necessarily in the sense that, like, obviously, like they can't pay a traditional taxes and like filing the taxes, but in the sense that they contribute a lot to our Social Security, and they contribute they contribute a lot to our Social Security. I think the figure is somewhere around $85 billion, which is something that they can't even claim. They can't claim Social Security benefits. They can't claim any sort of welfare that the federal government offers. So I'm confused on how that's like, them being here is creating a welfare state. And actually, we can see that drop in immigrants being here from the deportation, we can actually see our GDP suffered 0.2 to 0.5% decrease, and that is from the Immigrants Advocate.
Immigrants Advocate. Okay.
So the important thing to remember too with respect to GDP rates is you're actually including government spending in that. So if the government prints and spends a bunch of money, your GDP rate goes up. That doesn't necessarily mean it's good for your economy. The other thing is I would completely reject the idea that it is, quote, been proven by evidence that illegal immigrants do not get any sort of federal assistance or federal welfare programs.
So
they may
what
not,
federal assistance do you think they get?
They may not be eligible for it. That doesn't mean there aren't ways to actually defraud the system and engage in it. In fact, when you look at Doge and we actually look at what they identified with respect to spikes and things like Social Security fraud and other forms of fraud, it actually coalesces with the number of people that were coming over into the country illegally. So the idea that because something is illegal, therefore they don't have access to it, crossing the border is illegal, and yet they still have access to the United States. So the idea that them coming over here and the only law they broke was immigration law and that they haven't engaged in any sort of welfare fraud, I don't think is a reasonable conclusion. The other thing to keep in mind is that when it comes to the states, okay, when you send your child to school, that obviously costs money. When you send your child to the hospital, or when that obviously costs money. And the thing is that due to Entella laws, we're not kicking you out of the hospital when you don't have insurance. It just gets eaten up by all the people that do have insurance, or it gets eaten up by tax dollars, which has a way of then again funding them. So I'm not arguing that illegal immigrants don't contribute to the economy. I'm saying that we can't even get a clear picture of how much they contribute versus how much they take with respect to federal spending of these other programs. The other fundamental question here, though, is even if you could prove that it was economically beneficial, does that mean we shouldn't have any borders and we shouldn't enforce immigration law? So I'm thinking you're operating on this absolute that, all people who believe in any sort of liberal view or any sort of, not, as restrictive of a border policy as some conservatives believe, just automatically believe that there should be open borders. Nobody's advocating for people who commit crimes to stay into this country. Nobody's advocating for that. But
see, this is the thing where no one, like, this is the thing where I'll at least my opinion, right? I don't believe Republicans or the right is saying that no immigration at all. It's the problem is no illegal immigration. Okay, and no one is saying that let's deport legal immigrants. Let's deport immigrants that have been here for years and have a green card, have a passport, all this shit. No one's saying that, right? And I believe majority of people aren't supporting that. The problem is, why can't we all agree? All agree, just no illegal immigrants. How about that's my insanity. Why can't we just agree on that point? Right? No one's saying that, yeah, we should have immigration, right? We should have immigrants. Like, do it the legal way, go through the process, it is fine, right? I'm all for our countries, any countries having immigration. It's beneficial. But why can't we all just be on the same page? No illegal immigration. I'm sorry if your family's suffering and you have to jump the fence, but do you not think that the people who are standing in line trying to do it proper, their family's not suffering just because they're not as, I don't know, crazy as you to jump the line? No, that's ridiculous. So in my opinion, you don't have more right to jump in front of someone else who's doing it legally, right? You don't. So I don't understand. That's my main gripe with liberals or, Democrats. Why can't we just say, all of us should say, just no illegal immigration. Right. We have enough immigrants, or we can slowly process, because this is the thing, even the UK is going through it. How about slowly process immigration into our society instead of pumping millions of people like within months? That's insane.
Yeah, we have I think it's 40K sometimes in a month.
That's insane.
But the thing is, all this happens because liberals don't run off intelligence. They
Mm.
run off
No.
empathy.
Feelings.
And you can't society can't survive off empathy.
Mm.
Like, thousands of years have gone by. Do you think we're empathetic for killing the thousands of people who tried to invade us in 1256, or the French, the Germans? Were we ever empathetic for any of that?
Yes.
That's the
Obviously
problem.
not.
These liberal people are going to destroy the world.
Yeah,
These liberal people are going to destroy the world. They have no understanding of history. They have no understanding of logic. They're feelings based, and that's my problem. We used to be a fact based country. Now we're a feelings based country, and it
yeah,
doesn't matter. Your feelings don't feelings. What's crazy is when it comes to relationships, they say, "Oh, love is not going to pay the rent." Well, your feelings are not going to make society grow no more. It's not.
yeah,
And I don't understand why, if I want to become a doctor, is I have to do the steps, and it's going to take me 8 years to become a doctor. If I want to become a lawyer, it's going to take 8 years. But somebody
yeah,
can jump the line and come over here and not do the steps. That's my
yeah,
problem. My problem is not about people coming over, like Da said. My problem is not with people coming over here. My problem is with people coming over here and just not doing what they're supposed to. Take
yeah.
the
They get,
steps. Nationalization.
Yeah.
Become a citizen. You
yeah,
take the steps instead of just coming over here and benefiting. Because and it's crazy to me
Assimilate.
because people want to sit here and say that they're paying into the system, but they're benefiting way more than they're paying into the system. I guarantee
yeah.
that.
I mean, I look here because I'm not over there. I can only compare what I see in my country, and it's with the same thing here. Migrants from Somalia and Pakistan come over. I'm disabled. I cannot work. I have an exemption in, like, medically, and I get 1,400 a month. Migrants that come over here can work. They get around 3 grand, I think, every month.
Wow.
They
Wow.
get phones, they get free accommodation and free food.
That's the problem, right? This is
Yeah.
why I say no illegal immigration, because the money any money that's spent on illegal
Yeah.
immigrants should go to citizens first. That's
Yeah.
my problem, right? That is my
Yeah.
issue. Where why isn't the money going to citizens first, and then if citizens are doing well, doing better, now we can care about every other motherfucker out there,
Yes.
right? That's my thing.
Yes.
It's
I
like,
guarantee. I think it would be 5, 10 years. Da 5, 10 years of worrying about Americans.
Yeah,
And Americans will be in a way better situation, and then we can help the whole world. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I agree. I agree.
But you can't focus on everybody else and not focus on yourself, man. That's just like I would tell my homie that you can't focus on everybody else and not focus on yourself, man. You gotta
100.
focus on yourself so you can be the best. That's
Yes.
why, and that's what used to be America used to be about. America used to be about pull yourself up by your bootstraps and be the best you can be.
yeah.
Now it's about everybody gets a trophy. You get a car. You get a car, which is
Yeah.
stupidity.
Like,
Stupidity.
you guys, when the was it? You guys bet the biggest empire that existed, the British Empire,
Yes.
that ruled half the world. You guys beat them, and so you guys can fix your own country in like that. That's a good time frame, 10 years.
Yeah.
If you guys can beat the empire that conquered half the world, you guys
Yeah.
can probably do anything.
That's the thing where that's why I do love that
Yeah.
we do have certain sides that are trying to keep the liberals in control,
Yeah.
right? And that's I think that's what other countries are having a problem with. They don't have enough of a balance, right? Places like Canada or the UK. Hell, I mean, like one thing I'm scared, right? Literally, they're arresting people if you make other people feel bad in the UK. If I feel bad that people insult me, I can get people arrested.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's a liberal weakness right there.
I think, special ed class, how they're separated. I think we need to make a city. Just designate a city in the USA for liberals. Put them all.
I'm down with that.
Put them all there.
I'm down with that.
It'll be the most lawless.
It'll be
have
destroyed.
The highest murder rates. It should look like 28 days later. In 2 minutes. They'd.
Because everybody doesn't get a trophy. Everybody doesn't get a trophy. The top three. The top three, gold, silver, and bronze get a trophy. And maybe fourth place. And maybe fourth place get a trophy. Everybody don't get no trophy. And when we became a PC country was the beginning of the end. These liberals are going to destroy the fabric of great nation, to me.
There's many amazing quotes. If you just look at many of the amazing men that created a lot of things we have today, they had a ton of quotes about this happening in the future. They knew that people like this would do something like this.
Brave New World, man. They knew.
And nothing happened. We didn't do anything about it.
Because they wanted it, man. They seen it coming and they wanted it because they get money in their pockets. They're sending their children to college while the average person can't even send their child to community college. You know what I'm saying? That's the problem. And the average person has to wake up and stop being feelings based. They have to wake up and be smart and be like, hold up, why am I sending everybody else's child to college, to Harvard, and I can't even send my child to community college? I think that's the problem. I think that's the true problem. We need to wake up. We've been sold. We've been sold a lie. And we got sworn up.
If you look, isn't like the state's education going really downhill?
Yes, tremendously.
They're not funding real classes. They're funding gender politics. They're funding. Have you guys seen that blonde guy who's a math teacher, and then he starts a gender study, mid algebra, and he seems to think he's this good parent. His profile pic is him with his kid hanging off a bench like he's about to crack his skull open. There's no woman in the picture, by the way. So he's dating a trans woman.
Oh my god!
That guy's son is going to be so horrendously bullied. It is going to be that guy will be responsible for his son's suicide single-handedly.
Yes, pretty much.
Because of how he's raising him.
Yeah.
The same thing with the Earth moms. Their children are going to be destroyed in school.
Yeah.
That's horrible. That you would set your child up for destruction. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine being a child. You come in, you're watching a movie, and it's your mother on OF. That's crazy work.
Can you imagine good parents that can't have kids that would want a kid like this to raise, and yet we leave them in the hands of. We need a test for like people, and for if you can pass that, you can be a parent legally.
Yes,
it's
and
just
you
a
can vote.
Legal requirement. Yeah.
and you can vote. You should have to
Yeah.
pass a test to vote. You should have to. You probably should have
Yeah.
to. You generally pass it. You should probably have to get a general score on a
Yeah.
certain kind of test to do certain things.
I
Period. Just
agree.
like
Do
to go into the
multiple tests.
military, to do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just to
Yeah.
do anything, you have to take a test to prove you had the skills.
But you
And
can. I'm sorry. You continue.
no, you have to pass the test to prove that you have the skills to do certain things. Just like
Yeah.
I said, if you want to be a doctor, it that's like that. What is going on now is like, uh, I need my kidney. I need a kidney transplant, and somebody's coming off the street to do it.
Yeah.
Somebody just coming off the street. Oh, you need a kidney? I got a kidney for you. What? And coming off the street with it.
No, we definitely need to go back to promoting the best and the brightest in our countries.
Yeah.
I miss those times.
That's what made the world we have.
Yes.
I mean, if it wasn't for all the brightest people in Europe, we wouldn't have 97% of everything we have today.
Correct.
And it's because of that. And these people take that for granted. They don't understand how much sacrifice and everything throughout thousands of years has had to be done to get the world exactly how it is right now.
Yes, I agree with you.
Yeah,
I
without
agree with
sudden, if so and so didn't win this war, if this didn't win this, there could never have been an America. If Britain was destroyed, and if Britain won, you guys probably wouldn't exist today. And then,
I agree.
yeah.
From the deportation efforts that have been made so far in the Trump administration, most of the people, 70% of the people who even are deported or have even been put in these ICE camps, in these inhumane ICE camps like Alligator Alcatraz, are people who haven't even committed a crime. So how would you even be able to justify that? Do you capture 70% of people to capture 30% of the gun? You capture 70% of innocent people to capture 30% of the criminals who are in this country? I mean, the actual people who don't have a legal status and they're committing crimes. You're going to capture 70% of the innocent people who came here for a better life to capture just that percentage of people. And you're talking about federal spending. No federal spending we don't even spend as much on the federal government doesn't even have an allocated, unless you can show me, it has an allocated funding to spend on doing good things for illegal immigrants. The only funding that they have spent on taking illegal immigrants out of here is literally just taking illegal immigrants out of here. So they literally have spent more. They've spent more than most militaries in any other country just to have deportation efforts to remove immigrants. So if you're talking illegal immigrants, so if you're talking about, oh, they're spending this much money, we don't know how much of a figure, they're actually ICE budget more than any other thing than we are.
Okay, first of all, you accuse me of engaging in absolutes, and then you engage in a bunch of absolutes there. There's when you say we're engaging more in when you're engaging more in the ICE budget than anything else, that's demonstrably false.
That's not necessarily what I'm trying to say.
Miss, I let you talk the whole time. I didn't interrupt.
I'm just trying to clarify my point because I know it's going to end up on a recording or something, and I just don't want
Miss, the important part on all of these things, and I'll be happy to let you clarify. But the important part is, again, to try to speak with as much clarity up front, because I can only respond to what you say. I can't respond to what you intended to say.
Yeah.
And so the point I'm going to say here is a couple of things. Without actually looking at specific numbers, it's difficult to be able to ascertain how much we're actually spending for, according to your claim, how much we're actually spending versus the overall net benefit of people coming into the country illegally and engaging in work. Again, when you say 70% are innocent, they are not innocent of violating federal immigration law. They are guilty of violating federal immigration law, and the punishment for violating federal immigration law is you get deported. Now, it may be that they want a better life. So do the people that are trying to come over illegally. So do Americans, right? So this idea that they're just innocent people are rounded up and putting in, quote, inhumane ICE camps. No, people that violated immigration law are being rounded up in order to be deported because that's the appropriate course of action. Now, if you would like to suggest that we shouldn't have, and again, I didn't say that everybody that is against that Trump's border policy is for open borders. I've never said that.
Yes, but you were kind of implying it because you were saying like, because when I asked, when I told you about, like when I first started speaking, you said like, oh, well, not everybody wants to have an open border, which isn't necessarily even what I said. I never even clarified that I wanted to have an open border.
No, what I said.
No, why when people say that you want an open border is because, do you know who you're advocating for? Illegal immigrants. You're not advocating for immigrants, right? This is the thing where I don't know why I don't personally see it. So I don't know if other people see it, but I don't see these advocates, these protesters, these kids that talk all this shit. None of them are saying that, oh, we need to reform immigration, right? Make our immigration process easier or quicker or cheaper. None of them talk about that shit, right? Democrats don't talk about that shit. Hell, Republicans don't talk about that shit. But still, all these people who are supposedly for immigrants, none of them are fighting or pushing, campaigning on reforming our immigration policies. So you're not actually for immigrants. What you're doing is constantly saying no. It's like you're fighting for illegal immigrants, right? Because we have thousands upon thousands, if not millions of people waiting in line, okay, in the process of trying to get here, okay? Millions of people waiting in line right now. So it's not like we will run out on people that want to come to America or the UK or any Western country. We won't run out, right? Plenty of people want to come. That's not the problem, right? The problem is, like I said, why can't these people understand you are fighting for illegal immigration? You're not fighting for immigration, because if you were, you would be protesting, fighting, or campaigning for how about make our immigration process quicker, more streamlined, less money. It costs less money to immigrate here. Those things, right? Stuff like could change our actual immigration policies and laws. None of them are fighting for. None of them asking to change it. All they're talking about, oh, don't deport illegal immigrants. Are you crazy? Like, we have millions of people waiting in line to come to America, and yet you're fighting for the ones to jump the fence, to jump the line. I don't know what these people think about. In real life, I'll be angry if I'm waiting in line and other people jump in front of me. So
Yes.
Why can't you use that same logic in this process? That's my problem.
Yeah, I don't understand why they fight so hard. I don't understand why they are fighting so hard for illegal immigration, basically. I don't understand that. I don't understand why, you can't do this in any other country, any other place. You cannot do this. Any other place that they're going to lock you up and deport you. You cannot do this in any other place but America. So the conversation that we're having is
West,
really
right? A lot of these Western countries are happening like that because we let liberals, right? We let liberals have a voice. UK suffering from it. Canada, all these white nations, they're too nice for their own good.
Yeah, another thing here, it might be a bit off topic, but if you rewind it, this is why some people are very unintelligent. And the guy behind her, the guy
behind her.
There's this conversation that he shouldn't be listening to.
He's hyping her. He's hyping her.
No, he's jamming. He's got his Reebok, he's got his Raycons in, dude, and he's just jamming to something. I thought he was I thought he was trying to get her in bed by No, he's just fucking. He's in his own world. I don't think he knows what's happening right now.
It looks like he's not in agreements.
And Meteor could come in and destroy everything here. He'd still be there in his own world. Just why? If he's there, he should be listening.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's not a thing about intelligence no more. It used to be a thing about you be the best version of yourself that you can be. You had the test to be a PhD. Then now, 10 years, 50 years ago was harder than a mug. People couldn't pass it now. The people of today could not pass the PhD test of the past.
Yeah.
That's crazy work. And how they say it, if you go by what they say, the farther you go back, the more primitive you get. So why is it that people today couldn't pass a test 100 years ago? And they're supposed to be more primitive. And this liberalism is really the true. This liberalism, man, it makes me sick. It makes me sick how this liberalism. It does. It does.
I was in special ed. I have a heart condition that makes me get less oxygen to my brain. Yet somehow I am more
intelligent than these people.
I'm thankful I was raised with the family I have, grandparents.
Yes.
Even though my mother and father split, I saw my father.
Yeah.
So I decided didn't want anything to do with my they're all liberal. It just happens the side that didn't like my father, any of that. They just happened to all be liberal.
Yes. There's more bad people that are liberals than anything, I think. They're horrible people.
It's a pattern here, you know. Dad not there, liberal. I doubt she has a dad. Or at least has a good relationship with one.
She for sure don't read no books, man.
Yeah.
She for sure don't read no books, man. Because you can just tell all that stuff she was saying about how 70% of people in prison are not supposed. What is she talking about? What are you talking about?
I don't know. She's just pulling numbers, and she references. Oh, it came from a website that supports illegal immigrants,
and so they're going to gear it towards. They're going to gear it towards.
I like one of the news things here and spread liberal propaganda. I click on their page. #1 voice of liberals. That is their newspaper head description.
They're going to destroy the country we don't speak up. They're going to destroy the country we don't speak up. See, he's very respectful. He's letting her talk.
Yeah.
Because that's how I think a conversation is supposed to be. You talk, I talk. You talk, I talk. You know what I'm saying? Anything other than short little add-ins, okay, you can throw whatever out. You know, that's having a conversation. You talk, I talk. You talk, I talk. But in some respects, we have to be disrespectful to these people, because these people, everybody should not get to. You know, we're in this age where everybody's opinion should matter, and if you don't, that's not true. If you don't know the basic staples of things, why is your opinion weighing the same as mine when I do? I'm working the system. That's fitting.
Opinions never. It's called an opinion because it's not a fact. It's what you think.
Right.
If it was an objective fact, everyone would think it.
It would be a fact.
Yeah.
Remember they used to say opinions are like a-holes, everybody have them and they all stink. You remember that? That's the thing. The problem, I think, is with the welfare state. The mothers and the grandmothers and the aunties have gotten younger and younger, and they don't know nothing. They have nothing to give to. That's a problem. You should have something to give to your children, either in monetary or in, intellectual something to give to them.
It's the fact that 60, 50 years ago, we had people marrying at 16 and then they build this entire good life. They'd have kids, they'd raise them, and they'd still be in the house. They live until today, where, it's bad, but they've gotten up to this point and have been whatever successful in their own ways. Yet today, you cannot. Do you see anyone getting married young?
Because people marry the government. People marry the government. People have children with the government, and that's the problem. That's the problem.
I think all the government stuff in marriage and family. I get, like, you know, medical stuff. You need the family and all the stuff that like makes sense. What is stupid is how marriage is now intertwined with the government,
Hmm.
because marriage was never anything like that throughout time until it
No.
just suddenly was.
Yes.
And
I don't understand how you can be married to somebody, cheat on them, and still take half of their money.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
crazy work. That's insane.
And
That's,
marriage, that's the government side, right? Marriage is just two people that want to have the life together, and it's a religious thing from the start. That's what marriage
should be.
Yeah, that's what marriage was, because it was about two souls under God. So you'd spend your eternity together, all that. But now it's reduced to, oh, here's a $30,000 wedding. Oh, look at all how shiny. It's her day.
Mhm.
It's no longer about the values it used to be. Like,
Yeah, honor, duty, and respect.
yeah.
That's what I live on. Honor, duty, and respect. And
no,
people don't have that no more. People
No,
don't
that's
have
the
that no
thing
more.
where I think we do want to promote conservative values, but the problem is I don't think society will go back to it. I honestly don't think society will go back to conservative values because
Yeah.
sadly, feminism, it is feminism. We won't go. I don't see us going back to conservative values. I don't. I see that that's going to be the downfall of our nation, of our.
Yeah, I think we have to. Yeah, I think we have to.
Yeah,
I think we have to, or we want to cease to exist.
Yeah.
That's the choices we have. You have to go back to it, or we just
yeah.
and people might choose that.
I
That's
mean,
what they
North
say.
Korea is going to face it, right? North Korea has studies that you know what, in 30 to 50 years they will go extinct.
You have to.
And the fact is, you guys are still above us by a long ways, but you'll eventually, if you let these people, you'll become us. I mean, we'll
Yeah.
probably be gone by then because of it, but you guys will be the new us.
Yeah,
And
that's
then,
what I'm scared of.
right, the UK used to be a first world country.
Yeah,
Now I think it's more of a third, maybe maybe between a second and a third, because our healthcare is still kind of okay. Like,
Yeah, I say second. I say second.
yeah,
Between first and second. You
and
know.
they're slowly going towards it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still alive, so the healthcare is still good-ish. Not just not
I
how they
just don't
do
know
it.
why they so set on destruction. You know what I'm saying? It's like you
I
don't
don't
think.
know.
They don't think at all. They have no
No.
thought. They just go off of what they just regurgitate and go off of what they're told. They don't look into nothing. There's no thought pattern, you know. And I
No.
think around the time of the what was the act, the Patriot Act. Around the time of the Patriot Act, that's when people stopped reading these acts and laws. You know, they didn't see all the bad stuff that they were sticking into the law. They only saw the good thing. That's
I have
crazy.
to look up what that act is because I'm not too familiar. Oh, well, if it came in 2001. Let's see.
This earlier, there are some people
Oh,
who don't believe that borders should exist. I'm not assuming that you believe that, but the question is that if borders do exist and we should have immigration law and people violate the immigration law, well, then of course we're going to allocate resources in order to deport the people that violated that immigration law. Now, we can argue about how much time, resources, and energy should be allocated to that, but one of the things that cannot be denied is that at least the previous administration worked very, very hard to facilitate mass amounts of illegal immigration into this country. And so now they've created a problem that we're trying to deal with now. And the fact that we're looking at it now going, well, I don't like the way it looks, or I don't like the amount of resources that are being allocated to it. Well, none of that would have been necessary had we actually been effectively securing our border in the first place. And so I can appreciate the frustration. I can even appreciate maybe
I'm not frustrated.
Well, I can appreciate differences of well, you seem angry about the fact that we're
I'm not angry or frustrated at all. I'm just trying to understand. Well,
then allow me to explain my position so you know what my position is. My position is that countries should do and should have borders, that they should have immigration policies because it is a country's right to be able to determine who legally enters into the country and then what is the process by which they stay or are removed. We have millions of people that came into the country illegally. I believe that a lot of that was part of a deliberate policy decisions by the previous administration and administrations past. I believe that now we have to go through the process of deporting people. I believe if you enter the country illegally, you are eligible for deportation. I do believe that there are cases where we can apply exceptions. I do believe that we should prioritize going after people that have committed additional violations since they've been here, but that does not mean that I exclude people that did not make additional violations since they've been here. So that's my overall position on immigration. Now, if you can tell me what you think is wrong or incorrect or immoral about that, I'd be happy to address it. But so far, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what exactly we're debating or what fine point we're debating here.
Yeah, I mean, so I came up with the original question. I think I kind of got lost on a tangent, but I came up with the original question about, like, you know, the original arguments that you were having with some people up here when I first came was that the main reason you find a problem with illegal immigration was literally because of the fact that it's under the federal government, it's illegal. Under federal law, it's illegal.
No.
So I was
distinguishing between illegal and legal immigration, but the reason I think it should be illegal because of the negative consequences associated with illegal immigration.
Okay, so but then I was then asked you, do you think what is moral is the legal thing, right? And how is it like? How does it apply in this situation?
Okay. So I think laws should be moral in nature, which is to say that they should attempt to achieve justice. In the sense is it moral for a country to establish borders and immigration criteria? Yes, I think that can be moral. Can they come up with bad criteria or good criteria? Sure. But is it moral in general for them to be able to set those parameters? Yes. If people violate those rules, is it moral for that government to then deploy law enforcement in order to deport them out of the country? Yes, that is moral in and of itself. Can you come up with individual cases where you think it would be, they would operate in a way that was immoral? Sure. And I'm happy to debate those individual cases. But as a matter of policy, I believe it's perfectly moral for a country to set boundaries with respect to its borders, who can come into the country, and then set up processes to deport people that have violated those rules.
But as a policy as a whole, it's seemingly that the Trump administration is going about this deportation and in a completely immoral way, right? We can see what they're doing at the airports. They're trying to, you know, spend, obviously it's immoral from the perspective of even just how much the American
Zyrax. Why? See, now we got. If you want, we could debate that, right? We could debate that. So Red Door, beautiful sister. Said divorce laws benefit women.
Yes.
And then Zyrax says, as it should. Why should divorce laws benefit women? Right? And that's the thing. That's the problem where. Like, you shouldn't just benefit people just because of their race, gender, or orientation. No.
Yeah.
It should only benefit the people that make sense, right? Because just like Big Bars just said, how can it make any sense that you can cheat in a relationship as a woman? You can cheat on your husband and still come out of that relationship, out of that marriage with half of his shit. That is insane. It should not benefit the person who is honestly the one who destroyed the marriage, right?
No.
It should not. So, I mean, if you want to come up and debate that, I'm down talking that because that is insane. Insane that it should only to benefit the person that, you know what, it makes sense to benefit said person, right?
If she's leaving the man and there's no abuse, she's not leaving because he's abusing her, he's not like, and she is choosing to leave all those assets, what he offers, everything he offers. She should not have any of that. Like, and if the man chooses to leave her and nothing, that's where I get a bit iffy. Maybe it should be not half. But
Yeah, they're not even fair about it. They're not
Yeah.
even fair about it.
it should just be enough for the essential for her to just
To get
Just kind of get
started,
back
it
on
should
her
be a nice start.
Yeah.
It should
Get
be a
back on
nice
her
start.
yeah.
Yes.
If you're a millionaire, you choose to leave her. Why should she get 500K? You know,
Yeah.
like it doesn't make sense. She didn't earn that. You earned that. But
I
the
agree.
punishment,
Because like you don't. This is the thing where only women think this. That you know what? When I was with him,
Yeah.
I was a stay-at-home wife. I didn't I didn't have to pay my own bills. And
Yeah.
now I left him. I want to say, why would you want this? You don't deserve the same life. That's the thing.
No.
You got that life, right? You got the benefits from the marriage because it was the marriage. So why is that when you leave the marriage, you can benefit the same? That is stupid. I'm sorry. If you get enough for get back on your feet, find a job, get an apartment. Okay, maybe a couple months, maybe a year. Okay, you get enough money for a year of expenses until you find a job. Okay, but to think that because you're a stay-at-home wife and you didn't make no money during the marriage, and then after it you deserve something. No, because of the marriage, it gave you those opportunities. It gave you that privilege because. That it's a privilege to be a stay-at-home wife. It's a privilege not to need to work, but still have your bills paid, still have a roof over your head, still have clothes in your in your closet. That's a privilege. It's not a right, right? And that's the problem with so many women who think, oh, it's a right because you know what? I stayed home taking care of your own baby, it's your children, right?
Your own children.
It's not like it's such an amazing thing for him that you took care of your own children, right?
Yeah,
that's insanity.
And it's a privilege to have a guy who's going to protect you. This guy is willing, he'd be willing to off someone else trying to hurt you. Make sure you're not hurt. Make sure your kids aren't hurt. There's so much that the guy brings. There's all the woman brings, There's two separate things,
These liberals do not like accountability. That is a problem. And society needs it. These liberals like her, she does not like accountability. And the thing to watch, I'll say this, and this is crazy, but it's true. I feel it's true. The thing to watch about women is that they will agree with something that they will agree with something that they know is morally wrong. So because they know they might benefit it down the road with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're going to agree with, they will agree with something they know is wrong. They would agree with their girlfriends and know it's wrong.
Never let
But
your wife
they would not
hang
say
out.
nothing because they know they're going to benefit from it later on. They know they could benefit from it. It's the possible. That's the thing, and that's the sad thing. It's not even that they are actually doing it.
Yeah.
It's that they operate off of the I may one day possibly benefit from it. That's crazy work. That's evil. That's evil to me. To me, that's evil. And I don't care what anybody or any woman has to say about it. To me, that's evil. The fact that you agree with evil because you might benefit from it one day. That's crazy work.
Another thing there is that I've seen a saying, don't let your wife hang out with divorced friends.
No. Single friends. Yes.
They will convince her that divorce is a great thing. And they're like home wreckers without actually doing all that.
Yeah.
It's like
And a lot of women need to realize that their friend want their man. A lot of women need to realize that their friend wants their man, and they will counsel them to leave that man while they're trying to get with that man. But then it's the man's fault. Then the man's evil. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. That's like I said. A lot of this stuff is manipulation 101, and that's what red pill is to me. We have to. Our children, our sons need to know how people move.
It's like if you bring your woman around your male friends, surely one or two of them's gonna start thinking she's quite nice, all that, but they're not gonna do anything because you might
Hopefully.
beat the crap out of them because you set up that they don't have the same thing. Is this on a college?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
on a college campus.
So how is a young woman balding like a 40-year-old man? Look at that. I don't get her hair, man. And guy on the left, he's still in his own world. He's not listening to a single thing that's happened today. And I don't get him.
But that's the thing. A lot of these colleges are not about education.
Yeah.
They're about bleeding money. They're about bleeding money from people, and they're about indoctrinating people evilly, really. You know what I'm saying? It's not about education. I remember when school used to be about education. I remember what was it was like one of those kid and play movies when in the Lawrence Fishburne was in, and he was like, "Time don't wait for no man." You know what I'm saying? Time waits for nobody. You have to you gotta be on it.
Guys, let's do it. Let's have a little fun debate, right? Let's have some decorum. Let's have some decorum, right? Let's be respectful to each other. All right. I particularly since we're talking to each other, I want to be respectful to each other. It's different with the chat, right? You say certain things in the chat is one thing, but when we're talking to each other, so hopefully we can be respectful to each other. Let's not, let's not be rude or degrading to each other, right? So, Zyrex, this beautiful sister, right? We're gonna start.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
What's up? So,
hey, what's up? Beautiful sister. Beautiful sister.
Oh, thank you.
All right. The divorce laws benefit women, and to you said it as it should.
Yeah.
So I want you to build your argument, right? I'm assuming you heard the things we just recently said. So I would love to hear why you said as it should.
Because majority of the time, excuse me, it's women that tends to have the kids. Now, if more men have custody of their kids, then it should benefit the men. So with me, it's not necessarily, a woman just because she's a woman or she's a mother that it should benefit her. But no, I'm looking at this through like what's best for the kids. So if the mom has has more custody over the kids, then yeah, like any kind of, because when you guys talk about divorce laws, you guys are usually talking about monetary, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and so that's the only reason why I said that.
But do you not believe that automatically? And this is how I believe. When a family splits, automatically it should be 50-50 custody.
Yes.
Then technically it should never benefit a woman, right? It should just be 50-50, where the husband has the father has the children 50% of the time, the mother has the children 50% of the time. So, i.e., it benefits nobody but the kids, right? It benefits just the kids, and the most benefit for the kids is that they get to see their fathers, their parents, as equally as possible. So it shouldn't you shouldn't say as it should. No, it should benefit the children, which is, in my opinion, both getting because it's a sad situation, right? It's a sad situation. So they both should get as equally as possible attention. The kids should get as equal attention from both parents as possible.
Another thing is, you phrased it in a way like the men don't want to have the kids. They do, but courts will always choose the woman over the man. It is by default always looked as the mother is the better choice to have the kids. And men have to fight. Men have to fight to be able to see them. Like,
I understand what you're saying. I'm only speaking, like what's actually going on. Yes, it should, right? But that's the current laws that we have, because not all state well, I'm not so sure if they have like 50-50 or whatever. Like I'm not quite sure how it goes, but I do know that for the most part, women just have a majority of the custody, and the fathers usually have like weekends or every other weekends or something like that, because the father is usually the one that's always working. And so now if the laws were, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't know if you don't know, but like I think I believe it was Kentucky. I believe. But I know it's one of those
Kentucky.
states. Yeah, that they literally put up a law where it's if you divorce, it's automatically 50-50. And guess what? Divorce rates plummet.
Yes.
Where this is the thing. This is something I always hate about a lot of. I'm not saying you, but a lot of people who are constantly, I don't know, for it or whatever. They constantly say men don't fight. But this is the thing. Why should men have to fight to see their children? That's the thing where it should be automatic. And that's the problem because a lot of people don't understand when you fight, you have to pay. Lawyers are not for free. Lawyers aren't cheap. Particularly for average people, you're spending pretty much all your money on a lawyer to hopefully win. And then after you lose all that money paying a lawyer, you pretty much are destitute. So that's the thing where a lot of people don't understand. You shouldn't fight. And that's why when, like I said, Kentucky made it 50-50 automatically, you don't need to go to court. Divorce plummet. Their divorce rates are like the lowest in the country. And that shows you a lot how women think that, yes, it should benefit. And guess what? Any benefit, when you benefit for something, you can't be surprised that people would do it. Right? If I benefit from something, I'll do it. So if I benefit from divorce, I'll do it. But this is the thing where if you have zero benefit, where it's like it's equal, people actually rarely do something if it doesn't benefit them. And we're seeing
but women are not divorcing, their husband to get money from them, though, because a lot of times, the majority of divorced women, they actually, if they're stay-at-home moms, then obviously they don't get a whole lot, right? But say if they're working, right, and they still get they benefit from the divorce, and all that. It's not by a whole lot. Like women aren't getting, these divorced women aren't getting rich, divorcing their
It's not
husband.
about getting. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Respectfully, it's not. That's where we respectfully disagree. I
Okay.
feel like a lot of women are divorcing their husbands to get money, and I don't think it's about getting rich. I think it's about having a softer life, not a total. See, people want soft life. People want luxury life, but they'll settle for a softer life. They'll settle for a vacation a year. They'll settle for that, and that's like the thing that I think the average person doesn't think. Like you said, the average woman's not getting rich. Dude, it's not about getting rich. It's about having. It's about when your children go even get to see dad. He's so beat down and he's so destroyed that he can't even spend quality time with his children. You know what I'm saying? I've
Yeah, but
seen that.
she gets more by staying with the husband than to divorce him, though.
Yes,
She,
that's the point. That's what I'm saying. You
yeah,
get more staying with the husband.
No, but see, here's the
exactly.
thing here's my thing where I want you to think about it, right?
Mhm.
I agree that no one's getting rich off of it, but I'll say this: one thing that women are getting is freedom. I believe that if you look at actual studies, the one main reason, right, the why women are leaving men isn't necessarily. I mean, yes, finances is a reason, infidelity is a reason, but those people keep on getting confused. Those are not the number one reason, right? Number one reason is irrevocable differences. And then when you ask them, what is that? It's usually lack of commitment. You fell out of love with the person. You don't want the person anymore. You want something different. And what a lot of these women want, right, is that they want freedom from the man. Plus, it's not it's not getting rich, but they want freedom from the man. Plus, they want a bit of expenses, right? So it makes it easier, kind of the softer, right? Where you know what, you don't need to. It's like you're always getting like $500, $1,000 a month, right? No, who's going to complain about that, right? You get a little bit of money while you're free from the man that you fall out of love with, you don't want anymore. And that's the thing where we don't talk
Wait.
about it. You shouldn't benefit at all.
Okay, freedom, but then poorer.
Well,
It's not.
relative.
Yeah, so that's where like I don't understand. Women, self-preservation. We are gonna make decisions that will best um um best we're always making decisions that has like the best outcomes, right? And so if we understand that, sacrificing our so-called freedom, by being in a relationship, by being in a marriage, by having kids, like we understand all that. And so we will not leave a good, like a good place, especially good financial place, to just for the sake of so-called freedom again.
Let's not. I mean,
That's not true.
you're
No.
different. You're a different type of woman. A
You're a
lot of
good
women would
woman.
do it because this is
You're
the
a
thing.
good
I think
woman.
the problem with a lot of women is that they don't think past today, right? There's like, oh, I'm getting freedom from him, but they don't think about what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen next week, what's going to happen next year. That's the thing
Yeah.
where they think it's maybe not you, right? But let's be honest, a lot of people, particularly women, are they're in the I would call it the hocus pocus kind of thing, manifestation, right? I always think that things will get better. There's better. This is why we always say the grass is greener shit, right? Because a lot of people, a lot of women think that, okay, I'm gonna leave this man and my life will be better. I'm not saying it will. Yeah, statistically, studies shown that when you divorce, you get poorer. But a lot of people are delusional. That's the thing we talk about. That's the thing that we have a problem with. Your life doesn't necessarily get better because you left the man, right? But a lot of, and this is maybe the propaganda that we have, right? And we probably see it so much on social media. I show so many videos of it, right? Women promote, the single life, promote, like we were saying, right? Don't hang around, don't have your married wife hang around with single friends, right? Because you get poisoned by it, right? You get poisoned by it. You think it's going to be better. And that's the thing we see. That is like, red pill content gets a lot of criticism, but it doesn't mean that we are wrong, right? We show the truth. We show the red pill, the reality. That I'm not saying that women leave and become rich. No, they leave and think that things will be better, right? They leave and think that they get the freedom from the man, and then they get a little bit of money from him, and they think life will be better. But technically, it turns out worse. And that's the thing where we want to promote, we want to talk about, we want to tell people that it doesn't get better. But society, we have women saying, oh, be a single and strong and live your life. You don't need that man. Grass is greener. And that's the problem.
Like, there's a very big difference between men and women on this single or in a relationship. There are so many guys who would kill just to spend every day next to a woman. And then you got women talking about going on this single life. Men get the same, but it's because of women doing this that they have this on them. It's just one big propaganda to each to the other. None of it helps. Everything's better when we're together, for one.
Takes two.
It feels like we're two different species when you have all these women saying, oh, focus on yourself to your 30, 40, and then go marry. It's ridiculous to me. Because it's just stupid. I mean,
Yeah, I think Raw is you're a good woman, so you're not going to understand the insanity of some of these women. That's what I think. That's really what I think this whole thing is about. Because really, if that little back and forth thing you just had, you pretty much proved my point. You might not know it, but you proved my point. And you're a good woman. You're not evil. You have a moral compass, so you're not gonna understand insanity of these the propaganda. You don't understand. You have not fallen for the propaganda. So you want to think differently. Left man is in the chat dropping stuff, but you're not going to understand it. That's and that is the fight that we usually go through. I go
So,
through. We go
so
through that. People who are not insane. We're arguing with people who are not insane about insane people, and the people who are not insane don't understand that there are crazy people running around. There are crazy people running around. I feel that if a mother cannot afford her children, then the father, if the father is upstanding enough, he should have them. Period. That's what I believe. Because that nurture thing, I'm way more of a nurturer than my son's mother. I'll say it, and I mean it. I'm more of a nurturer. I make sure he's straight. I make sure everything's good. I was just telling Da that my son is about to graduate from school, so I'm gonna make sure he's good, prom and all. I'm making sure he's good before I even do X, Y, and Z for myself. You know,
that's good.
and that is not it's gender. That's genderless. That's genderless behavior. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Uh, just because you're a woman doesn't mean you're the best candidate to rear children at all.
Yes, that's a fact. I will agree with you
And
there. Yes.
I think that the court we my problem is that especially the modern woman ever since the 60s has chosen the government over a man that they should be working with instead of conforming and doing what they got to do to stay with the father. They run to the government because they know the government is on their side. That is the problem
Yeah.
to me. That's just me. That's the problem to me.
I slightly disagree because, like I said, for a woman to leave her husband and marry the so-called government, again, a lot of times those women are in, like in poor environment, and so it just doesn't make sense. It's like, why would I, leave this man and then go live in a place that's, like that
You're
I'm gonna be
sane.
worse off, and my kids are gonna be worse off. Like, see, that
You're
doesn't make
sane.
any sense.
You're a sane person. You're
It's
sane.
selfishness. It's the
You're
selfishness.
sane.
They don't think past anything. I'm sorry. Because in my opinion, right, if you're gonna divorce, you also already not thinking about the kids. You're thinking about yourself.
Already.
Right? You think about how you feel. Because it's been statistically proven that kids fare better in a two-parent household. So already a divorce, again, outside of
I agree.
cheating and abuse, right? Outside of cheating and abuse, if you're not doing it because of cheating and abuse, which I kind of agree with, right? If your partner cheats on you or abuses you, definitely I would say leave. But if
Yes.
you're not doing it outside of that, you're usually thinking about yourself. So you're not thinking about the kids already. So if a person who isn't even thinking about the kids wants to leave the man, yeah, they're selfish. So they're not going to think about, oh, I'm poor, so I'm going to go to a situation. No, they're thinking about, you know what? I'm thinking about myself. I'll probably be happier outside of this relationship, but not knowing that, you know what, you probably fail. You'll probably be a lot worse. And I agree. There are a lot of studies, a lot of statistics that show that yes, a lot of women actually do worse off in divorce.
Mhm.
But again, you're thinking in your logic says, I can't believe it. Why would a woman do this? But here's the thing: you are a married woman, so you don't think like that, right? And you love your faith and all this stuff. But there are women out there that, you know what, they think about themselves. That's the
Yes.
problem. They're thinking of purely selfishness, and selfishness is very dangerous, right? Particularly in a family format, because you shouldn't be thinking about yourself when you have a family. You should be just like, Big Bars was saying, right? He's thinking about his kids before himself. And that's the problem we have with today, right? Women today, they think about themselves before the family.
I mean, my mom, she gave up her bedroom, all that, because there was 4 of us. So she let everyone have their room. She went on the couch. She'd
Wow.
sleep on the couch. It was her alone raising 4 of us. She did everything she could to make sure we were all happy, a good life. I'm the only one who really got to see my dad and cared about what he was doing. He did seem kind of selfish, but he had a lot going on. But the job of the parent is to sacrifice everything you have if it means your kid gets to lift from that. You give up stuff for your kid. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I
that
just,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry.
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I just think that sometimes the bridge is burnt, and I think that's why divorce is so dangerous. That's why having a baby with somebody and not sticking it through is so dangerous because the children suffer. It's either you pour into your child or the government gets them in prison and makes money off them. That's the choices. Those are the choices to me. You either pay into your children so they are successful and they can have money, they can have a family, and they can grow up and be prosperous.
Hmm.
Like they say, everybody know I'm not religious, but I almost was. And that's what they say: be fruitful and prosper and multiply and prosper. So it's either you multiply and prosper on your own, or you give your children to the government
And
and they make money off of them. That's how I feel about it. And sadly, that's really truly what it is. Regardless of what women think or whatever, that's what it is. It's either you knuckle down and you do what's best for your children. So, because nobody gonna love your children like you. If
Yeah.
them guards in prison don't love them people, they're trying to get over on them every which way they can. So it's either you pay into your children or the government takes from them. That's the choice.
um, another thing is people use money and about being poor and the kids. For example, my nanan was in a poor family, but yet they did fine and they built this life now once they grew up. And so I think that money doesn't play a huge part in anything of raising kids. I think it's just what you do.
Money's
Um,
not everything.
Nah.
yeah, money's not everything, but money does play a big part because
Mm,
everything costs money. That's all. That's it.
oh
Just
You
yeah,
everything
have
but
costs
more
money. That's it.
people. I'm not trying. Sorry, respectfully, I'm
You
not
don't know.
trying to cut you off. I'm not trying to do. There are more people that reproduce that are broker than rich people. Rich
mm,
people
Yes.
usually are selfish. They're
Yes.
selfish. That's why they're rich. Okay, let's just put that on the table. The people that are extremely wealthy usually are selfish, immoral people. Usually,
Yes.
not all, not
Yes.
all. Yes, money plays a part, but money's not everything. And you'll make more money. A woman, a woman who gets $1,000, $1,500 in child support will make more money staying with the man than leaving the man.
and
Yeah.
Period. That's it.
how,
That's what I think. So I don't understand. I don't understand why would you leave? Why would you break up your family? Why would you burn down your home? I don't get that.
uh, also having less money does make you more resourceful, and you're going to find ways to get around this pay thing. You could grow your own stuff. You can. There's a lot of things you can do that we've done for thousands of years that we've forgotten exist now because we can buy everything.
Okay. I want to let Zyrex finish her
Yeah,
thought, and
yeah.
then we're gonna let Red Door chime in. What's your finish your thought, Zyrex?
Well, like for the most part, I agree with what you guys said. You know, I don't know where the disconnect is. You know, whether it's women of nowadays, they don't value like nuclear family, or that men aren't measuring up to the women's standards or expectation, and vice versa. I'm not saying just only women's standards matter, but men's standards definitely matters too. And so yeah, I just don't know for sure like which one is it, or maybe it could be all three of them. I don't know.
I wanna let Red Door say something, but I want to say this, right? I believe feminism is the problem. But Red Door, what is your thoughts?
Hi everyone, how are you?
Hello, how you
I'm
doing?
good. How are you?
Hi.
Okay, as you know, I am indigenous. I'm from a reservation in South Dakota. It is one of the poorest reservations in the United States. The annual per capita income is $6,700. So jobs are non-existent because of where it's located. It's so being poor has nothing to do with how you bring up your children and what your values are. In my culture, we call children sacred beings. We believe they are gifts from the Creator. And we, in indigenous women, except for the feminism that has leached into the tribe, are generally very traditional. I have grown children that are happily married. I have grandchildren that are now in college. And my husband and I have been together for 50 years. So my son is 50 years old. I was 20 years old when he was born. So that tells you how old I am. But I think that the problem in today's society is modern women, think of relationships as these transactional events. What am I going to get out of it? It's always, what am I going to get? It's never, what is the man going to get? It's what am I going to get out of it? And as far as the whole divorce thing, the courts are rigged. The divorce laws are screwed up. They benefit the women. The men are left devastated. They lose half of their assets, generally their house. I hear these women bragging and saying, oh, well, women own more houses than men now. Well, a lot of those houses were acquired in divorce. That's why they own houses. And they end up paying lots of money. They have less access to their children because women are into parental alienation. And marriage is today get nothing out of being married. Nothing. So that's because you don't have any traditional women that know how to stay with someone, be loyal, stick it out through the thick and thin, and bring up the children, together. And that's the problem. Society, feminism has skewed the whole mindset of women
Indeed.
today.
Yes.
It really has. And it drives me crazy because, I have a friend that has a daughter that's 40 years old. She got divorced quite a few years ago, but she's 40 complaining she can't find anybody to date and all of this, the typical stories. Well, she wanted to be a boss babe. She wanted to do all these things, travel, and and she didn't need a man. Well, now all of a sudden she needs a man, because she's getting older. And I'm telling you, it's when you have somebody that you spend your life with and my husband a couple weeks ago said, "Oh, we're getting old, but it's been a good journey, you know." So what what legacy do you leave behind? I'm the matriarch of the family. I am a tribal elder. I have brought my children up with certain values and behaviors in my grandchildren. An example is I had two of my and my son-in-law, by the way, is black. So I have grandchildren that are biracial. So these two came for Thanksgiving dinner. We all had Thanksgiving dinner together, and they know that there is a certain level of respect that is required. And those boys, I mean, they're 20, they're in their early 20s, and they must have left their phones in the car because the entire day there was no phone. No, not once. We sat around, we talked, we played pool, we watched some games on TV. We had conversations. And because they know that it's disrespectful, plus their grandmother spent an entire 2 days cooking this meal. So it's there's a certain um I retired, let me see, 2 years ago. So a lot of the young women that I worked with were just, and this is the whole thing, if you want to be somebody, you have time to be somebody, because your kids will get older. They'll move out of the house. My son joined the army. My daughter went to nursing school. Though, and then you can do what you want. You don't have any more children around. I ended up getting 3 degrees. I worked for the Department of Defense. I had a full life. I did. I got to live in Europe for 10 years. So
So in a way,
there's,
it sounds like you are the modern woman then, because these men don't want their wives to work. They're blaming feminism because women wants to work. But then, see, you've been working, so you should understand why some women, well, a majority of women, they have like goals, they have aspirations that they want to, achieve, which is why they choose to work. I'm not saying that they don't want to stay home and be a traditional wife. It's just that it's hard to be both, right? And so usually, yeah, there's a bit of sacrifice, and the what I think is the hard part for maybe like a woman is to balance both.
My thing is that I think you don't get both. You choose. I think you choose. My personal belief is that by when you're like 18, 17, 18, you choose which avenue you want to take. You know,
Yeah.
do I want to be a boss babe? Do I want to live a single life? Do I want to be the rich auntie? Or do I want a family? And do I put family first? You can't start a family and then all of a sudden want to be a boss babe. That's crazy. You
Yeah,
gotta choose.
Right.
like you say that red isn't this isn't that, but you did all that after the kids grew up, didn't you?
Yes.
That's the difference. She did that after you'd done all of that for your kids. You'd done all the duties. Now it was time for you.
And I basically did it so I could support my husband because he wanted to have a business, and we had plans. We had plans to move and to buy 200 acres in the woods and to leave the craziness and the rat race behind. And that's where we live now. I live out in the woods. It's peaceful, it's quiet. We have
A dream.
land and we have a garden every year, and it's a lot of work. We have to chop wood and, but, and I live in a northern climate, so, we have a lot of snow, but you can have it. You just have to figure out what your life path is going to be and what your goals are. My goals were to support my husband and my children, so, I'm very lucky that they're um, happily married. My son-in-law that's black is a chef, and he is a great husband, a great father. He's a good man. So we always have this thing in the house because we'll remind people in the family that we're the two minorities in the family. So, we kind of have a bond with that. But, and he grew up in the projects in Boston, so he didn't have an easy life either. He, you know, as he says, oh yeah, I was a street pharmacist for a while, and he did some things, but fortunately my grandsons are, one is going to school to be a game warden, and so it's but I just think the modern woman is very selfish. They're selfish. They're only looking out for themselves and what they can acquire. And as far as divorce goes, I'm going to tell you a story. My husband has a cousin, and he inherited 300 acres in his grandparents' farmhouse. And he had a business, and he met this woman. And on the back part of the property, he built a big new house. Well, she was a party girl. She ended up running around on him and partying and just causing all kinds of problems. And she got him kicked out of the house. She moved her boyfriend into the house. He was staying at the farmhouse. And because of the divorce, and he got totally screwed, totally screwed in this divorce. He lost just about everything. He lost his business. And then a week before they were getting ready to do the final settlements, this went on for a couple of years. And a week before that, he found out that he was gonna lose this was his family's property, the generations that it would belong to his grandparents, his great grandparents. It had been handed down through the family. So she was gonna look like she was gonna clean up and get everything. Well, a week later, he committed suicide. He just couldn't take it. I mean, he was just devastated. And imagine, and this woman, she was she was manipulative, and she would call the cops, and she would say he was doing all kinds of crazy things when he wasn't. And, it was just, I think he started drinking a lot, and I think the day that he committed suicide, he probably took some drugs, because he drove his truck down one of our back roads and just, like over 100 miles an hour, and just aimed for this big grove of oak trees. And that was it. So,
I want to say that's the thing where this is why us as men, or in this area, why we want to talk about it, because this is the thing where, just like Big Bars was saying, just prioritize what path you want, communicate how you want it, because I hate this narrative that's constantly saying the men are evil, or what men want terrible things for women. No, just prioritize. You want a family? Okay, start it. You want a career? Fine, go for it. But a lot of things that we have a problem that women want it all, right? And you can't. Only the very lucky can have it all. Okay, and this is the thing I want people more to understand, is that, when women think that they can have it all, the person who usually suffer probably the kids, and most likely the man, right? Because she will use the man so she can have it all, right? Like divorcing, or spending time. It's like just how go about it. That's the thing where I just why I want to constantly talk about these issues, because there are plenty of men that are suffering. We definitely plenty of time. So many times we do talk about we hear in society that women suffer, but we rarely ever hear how men suffer, right? Right. And that's my case. That's why I constantly want to talk about it, because we need to point out that men aren't the evil that society points them out to be. Men aren't the ones who want to control women, or dominate women, or make women's lives terrible. No, but it's like, in these cases with families, if you chose to marry a man, you chose him, right? And that's the thing where so many cases of women, and we're showing it, right? High divorce rate, 70% of the divorces are filed by women. And it's not, and 70%, it's not all because of men are cheating, or lack of money and shit like that. It's not. I think a lot of it is that women. It's not. It really isn't.
Right? No, it is. If you look up the statistics, the top 3 reasons is financial, infidelity, and
irrevocable difference. That's the number one. Irrevocable difference is number one. I'm not saying that finances or infidelity isn't part of it, but I'm saying the majority, right? Because again, divorces, you can pick which one. You could say which one. Most people, right? The top reason is irrevocable differences, not finances, not infidelity. And I believe, and I'm not saying that it's my own interpretation, but a lot of it is that women want that freedom. They want to be. They chose a man that they promised in the eye of the Lord, or towards the government, that they will be with him through sickness and in health, rich and poor, all that shit. Yet they, because of controversy, in my opinion, feminism, they're tired of him. They don't want him anymore. They want something different. Whether it turns out good, like yes, a lot of these divorces, women, they get poorer, but they don't care, right? Women rather, like, what is the thing that a lot of women say? I'd rather suffer by myself than suffer with this man. Right? That's a common saying that a lot of women say. So women rather suffer by themselves than suffer with a man. But yet, supposedly suffer with a man, you chose him, right? You wanted him. And now you will destroy a family, you will destroy a man because you supposedly now want to be your single self. And that happens a lot. And that's what we point out. That's what we talk about.
How can you blame that on feminism, though? What does feminism have to do with that?
It's the mindset where feminism, right? It's the selfishness. You think about yourself, right? We promote strong, independent women. You don't need no man. That is a common saying in this feminist era. So it is feminism, right? You think about your woman's self. You think about the priority is the woman. That's the priority. The priority of feminism points is not about the family. It's not about the man. It's about yourself as a woman, right? And like I said, this is my personal view.
And
right?
so, okay, then what do you call the men of today then that don't want it? Men don't even want to get married. So can you say that men are selfish now?
That's reactionary.
Well,
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's reaction.
It does.
Okay,
It does.
okay.
Every
I'll
action
grant you
has a
that. It is,
consequence.
but then is it still selfish?
It doesn't matter because
Oh, come on.
Well,
because
it doesn't matter.
is important. Because if I'm going to deal with selfish women, why shouldn't I be selfish? And that's the problem I'll hold men accountable too, right?
Yeah.
Because we are destroying. This is the thing: we're destroying nuclear family. We're destroying what created our society, what created our nations, is families. I will say that too. I want men to. This is the thing where if you see my last stream, I'm not crazy about men doing AI robot girlfriends or doing robot girlfriends. I don't want that. I want men to get married. I want men to have family. But the sad is that we are reactionary, right? Why do you think the gentleman or chivalry died? It's not because men want it. It's reactionary. Women started it. Men just complied. And that's the thing. Women are selfish, so men just comply. Because the thing is, like, the alternative is men forcing women to change. We don't live in a society that we are doing that, right? We're not trying to.
You don't think the feminist movement was a reactionary?
No.
If you look
the feminist
women
movement
didn't have the choice to do anything.
Majority of
maybe
women,
grassroots first
majority
wave.
of women didn't support feminism when it started. Majority of women in the West, in America, didn't support feminism when it started. Right? It wasn't a majority women thing. It was a select women. Particularly, it was the white rich women thing. Right? Feminism was white rich women. It wasn't female minorities were working. So it wasn't like it wasn't a woman thing. It was a very select few women thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
But what happened during feminism is there were waves of feminism. And what happened was eventually that feminist ideology turned into a political and an education agenda. And it just, the whole concept of what original feminism was changed, and it became about power and hating the patriarchy. And feminism today is about control, power and control. They don't really, you don't see them worrying about women's rights in the Middle East or anything like that. It's about power and control.
Like, they protest to Western. There is rallies about women in the Middle East, but they're protesting that to Western politicians. And that just doesn't. What can they do? You're supposed to be protesting that to them, but you can't do that there.
And just like the left and the Democrats, it gets promoted because it's a way to divide the country. It's a way to break up the fabric of families, traditional families. And it's a destroyer in my book.
Mhm. It's putting money in their pockets instead of
Yes.
legacy. It should be about
Yes.
legacy. It should be everything should be about legacy. And what you were saying about feminism, first, maybe second. First wave, maybe second wave was what you're thinking it was. Third and fourth are crazy, are not the same. It's not even hypergamy that's the problem. It's the hypergamy on steroids that's the problem. These people
Yes.
want a luxury lifestyle and they don't want to add nothing. That's the problem. That's the true problem. They want to sit around on their butts but have a luxury lifestyle. And that's not how the world works. You have to, if you want something, you have to work hard for it. Period.
That's the issue with a lot of these movements. They all end up being shills. Like the BLM, they were getting money, but the owners were taking that for themselves. And it wasn't about that. It was just to cause more divide between blacks and whites.
People don't know who starts stuff. That was George Soros. That was George
Yes.
Soros, a bad man. If you go to like the second, third wave feminism, who promoted that? Rothschild, a bad man. That.
Yes.
See, that's the thing. We have to understand what is truly going on. It's levels to this, And as long as you stay on level one, you're never going to understand the true evil of things, the true meaning of things. The true meaning of things are on level 3 or 4. And once you get to level 3 or 4, then you can see, hold up, this whole thing is about me destroying my legacy to send their legacy to college. You got to see that. That's how I see things anyway. That's how I see it. These people are using this is what these evil people do. They give you a good idea with a whole bunch of bad stuff attached to it. And they're winning. They're never going to let you. In my opinion, when it comes to government and stuff, I personally think it's like an evil arm has taken over. They're never going to let you win. They don't want you to win. The laws and bills and stuff that they set up are going to be to your detriment, I feel. And if you don't know that, and if you don't make them change it, and if you don't act accordingly, and if you don't build legacy, you're failing. You're failing. You're failing yourself, and you're failing your children. I kind of grew up from when legacy was everything. The black mother made sure their children ate first. You know what I'm saying? It was different than it is now. Now you got mothers who they don't even care what their kids eat. They don't even care what their kids eat, if their kids ate or nothing. But they did.
I saw a video of a black mother, and something was happening. I think someone next to the child caught fire. She ran away and left the child there. There was no thought to grab that child. I just don't get it.
It's selfishness. It's selfishness. It's individualism and it's materialism. That's what we're fighting. That's what we're
I agree.
fighting.
Materialism, yes.
We're fighting materialism, and I agree on some level. It is a reactionary. Men's responses is reactionary because why would a man marry a woman who's going to turn around and treat him like the enemy?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but then you're assuming that that's what the woman is going to do. Now, if you
How am
are
I
a
assuming
man,
that?
Okay.
How
no,
am I
so
assuming
you
that?
said you said if,
Let her finish.
so you're assuming that that's what she's going to do to you. But you see, if you said, you're a man, you know how to, you're a leader and you do your job right, then there's no reason for her to do you dirty like that.
You're saying, I keep
You
on saying
are
that you're saying,
brainwashed with the propaganda of feminism. If 70% of divorces are filed by women, are those good odds for a man in today's society
No.
to get married? Are those good odds? If
No.
you were going to go gambling, are those good odds? No.
No.
And I have sat down with my grandsons and I've had discussions with them about women. Oh, one grandson's already figured out because he's had a few mishaps with them. But what are the odds? Okay, I had a friend, a native friend, whose grandson was going out with this woman. He got a call from her saying she was at the hospital delivering his baby. Okay, so we got word of that. A bunch of us showed up at the hospital. Well, one thing you don't want is a group of Native American grandmothers, coming. And I said to her grandson, he said, well, she wants me to sign the birth certificate. And I said, no, do not sign it. And we went in the room and her family was really upset. And we said, he's not signing anything. He's not taking ownership of anything until you do a DNA test. Well, there was a big blow up. And you know what it was? Is because he was native, they thought if the baby was native, they were going to get certain benefits. But they don't realize, it just shows you the ignorance of something. Native Americans don't sit on their butt and collect money every month from the government. We don't. I grew up on commodity cheese and government food. So, that's what they thought. Education sometimes you can get benefits when it comes to education, certain colleges. But so they did a DNA test and it wasn't his. So, if he had, because, he was nervous and all of this, if we hadn't showed up and backed him and said, look, this is not happening on our watch. And, this is a non-native family. They don't understand how the native community works. And we have certain rules. Even my children and grandchildren brought up with this. And the tribe, we have rules when it comes to meals. The elders eat first because the elders are called the wisdom keepers. They're the ones that pass down the stories and the traditions and teach everybody in the tribe the customs. And after the elders, it's the children that eat.
Do you still live on reservations or do you live outside of the reservation?
Both.
But this is my thing, right? This is the thing where we were at a certain point, and I believe this is a sad thing for the Asian community, and this is my personal opinion, right? Feminism is the root of the problem. Is that feminism started women on the selfish path, and then men just reacted to it. So if women are selfish, if women only care about themselves, men now feel that I should care just about myself. So we are turned from a society where we cared about the community, we cared about the family, into now we just care about ourselves. So now everyone is selfish. Because again, I believe that men have changed, but it's reactionary, right? And now we are heading down a dangerous path. And you see this a lot in other Asian countries, like I said, Korea, Japan, a bit of China, where women are thinking about themselves, which is it is what it is. I'm not saying it's right or wrong or whatever. I'm saying that this is reality, where we're seeing it, right? When women think about themselves, what's happening? Everyone's going to think about themselves as well. We see high divorce rates, low marriage rates, low birth rates, and we're seeing the problem of it, right? And that's the thing where, I've always promoted. I think more women should listen to men's content to hopefully change the minds of children, change the mind of next generation, because I think this is a problem. We are heading down a terrible path where we are destroying the nuclear family. We are destroying what is so amazing about the West, right? We're destroying what's amazing about our civilization is the nuclear family. I don't think we should be so selfish, but we're not going to change men, because the problem is we can't change women. Right? And I believe men will be reactionary. I think men are reactionary, because if we can't change women, well, men are going to be what they're going to be. I don't believe if men all of a sudden not. I don't believe if men all of a sudden not be selfish, women are going to be jumping for joy to marry more men. Because you got to think about this. There was a reason why women changed. Men. There was a time where men focused on family, focused on women, focused on children. Women wanted to change that, not men. So it was like that.
I don't think so.
How so?
Okay, you're saying the men are reactionary. Why are men being reactionary? I thought men are supposed to be the leader. They are supposed to take charge, right? So they're just going to
that
react
don't
to
even
women.
make sense.
If you're not going to allow it, because in your mind, right, then we have to force it. Men will have to force it. Today, men don't force. I mean,
Exactly. Men are not enforcing what they're supposed to, right?
Again, we're living in a.
What are we supposed to do? Beat them and put them in the closet?
Yeah, we can't.
What are we supposed to do?
Different.
We get told we're toxic. This toxic masculinity. We're abusive if we try to do any of these things. How are we?
And you don't think some of them are valid though?
Being a lead.
No,
I don't. I think most of them are not.
Determining what my partner wears is abusive and not me leading, then that's retarded. Because there's so many things are labeled abusive, then they're little things. So if these little things can't happen, how are we meant to lead?
What little things are you talking about? When it comes to the word abusive, usually we're talking about physical.
No, but
it's not always physical.
There's a lot of women that say a man not wanting his woman to go out with guys is abusive. Not wanting her to wear outfits that are deemed revealing is abusive. There's propaganda on right now about texting her too much is abusive.
Yeah, I saw that.
There is so much stuff.
You showed me that.
Just because you have some nobody, woman, makes a clip saying that doesn't mean that it's the case.
Many women.
It's society, because you gotta believe in propaganda, right?
No, I don't.
You don't.
No, I'm not gonna believe. No, I'm not gonna believe some nobody.
No, I'm not saying
whatever. Just because that doesn't even make sense.
We do put propaganda out, right?
It's social conditioning.
Well, that's like how stereotypes happen. That's how all these things happen. So if we've created a generation of men that, you know what, I don't want to be called a creep. I don't want to be Me Too'd. I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't want to make women feel uncomfortable. I don't want to, because again, a lot of men are like, right? A lot of women saying men aren't approaching. Guess why? It's reactionary. It's not that men don't want to do certain things, right? It's not like men don't want to be leaders. It's not that men don't want to, be with women or marry women, all that stuff. It's not that men don't want to. But we've created a society that if men, again, toxic masculinity, right? We constantly talk about, society constantly talk about it. So men are just
because it's a thing. To say that you guys don't have some toxic traits, like then you're the delusional one.
What's the toxic trait? What is a toxic trait?
One of the biggest one is I'm saying women have toxic traits too. There's such thing as toxic femininity.
Hang on,
Yeah, but
you're
you don't see us
avoiding the
promoting
question.
it.
It's not promoted though.
You're going around what you just asked, though. You're not answering his question.
Answer
The
the
toxic
question.
masculine is
You're
not
going
being
around it.
one of the
Sorry.
thing about toxic masculinity is that, you know, when like when it comes to boys, right? When girls cry, it's okay to cry, but boys like, no, you better toughen up. You better not cry because that's you know, you're being a wuss. That's
Guess
toxic
what?
That's not
masculinity.
toxic. That's not toxic because the world
Men and women are different.
treats men different. Yes, the world treats men different than women.
But even
That
then,
is the main point.
that's guys to other guys. That's not a guy to a woman. That's a guy to guy. So what is a toxic trait?
A father
Is a
should know
guy
how
to
to.
woman.
A father should know how to guide his child. I 100%
Yeah.
believe men shouldn't be hyper emotional. It is
Yeah.
dangerous for men to be hyper emotional. I'm not saying that men should
Crying
never,
is not hyper emotional.
but you gotta admit,
I'm not
right?
talking about. I'm not
it's a
talking about
fun
crying
base.
over every little thing. Like, yeah, sometimes women do.
That's
You know, we watch a
that's the thing.
sad movie, we cry. I'm not
Men are
talking
not
about
saying
that.
never cry, right? But like if a boy like falls, he shouldn't be crying. Get tough up, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing.
There's
Men are
no
not
such
saying,
thing.
oh, if your mom dies, don't cry. Men are not saying that. But if you fall, get scraped. Who cares? Get back up. Stop crying.
You look
That's
back
the,
in the day.
that's
Yep.
the thing where
Like-
women think like that. We're
Yeah,
not
but a lot of
men,
times men bottle up so much emotion. That's the thing.
but technically we
That's
should.
false. That's
But
false.
Yeah,
false.
that's not
Men
true.
men are men commit the most crime. Like, what are you talking about?
Those are the men that
Because
don't
it's
control. Those are men that don't control their emotions.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
most of those
Right?
men
Because
are
you guys
raised
bottle up,
by
you guys
single
bottle up
mothers.
emotions, and so you guys lash out and you guys end up, deleting someone. That's what I mean.
Yeah, those are the ones that
Single
don't
mother
control
raised.
Those
Most of those men are single mother raised.
They're also
Single mother raised to live in their emotions, to act in their emotions.
Yeah, so they act out an emotion and kill somebody. That you see all these shootings, it's because one guy said another thing to a guy.
Yeah, because you guys act
So
out
he
with
turns
the whole
around and
toxic
kills him.
masculinity. It's to express, as in, to talk.
But the
Are
question,
those men raising those boys that do all that?
no.
If you look in the prison system, most of the men in the prison system have single mother raised to live in their
Yeah,
emotions, to act like a woman. A
No.
man cannot act like a woman. No, they can't. A woman doesn't truly understand the life of a man. That's the truth. I know women don't want to
I don't-
hear it, but that's the truth. A woman
Absolutely.
cannot understand that a woman lives life on easy mode. A woman lives life on easy mode. And to answer what I want to say to this last comment is men have civilized the world.
Yeah.
Men civilized the world for women and children.
Yeah.
That's what that is a fact. A fact of the matter that when men built and went to war for the safety of their children and their women.
Indeed.
I do
And
want to
then
say
their women turned around and spit in their face for it. That's how I feel.
I do want to talk about how Spider said, because this is the thing where I don't say that there's no selfish men, even before.
No,
but
there
in
is.
general, you got to think, if men were selfish, men wouldn't have created the society that we created, right? Men in general, right? Yes, there are plenty of selfish men, but men in general, they died in wars for other people, right? They sacrificed lives for other people. So in general, men have sacrificed, have thought past themselves. Men have thought, you know what, I'm gonna work my ass off while my family, right, has a roof over their head, is paying, getting their bills paid, all that shit. No, if men were selfish, they would stay single all their life and just mess around. So I don't believe that men in general were selfish. I don't believe that feminism was created because of men selfish. I think feminism was created because they select the few selfish men, right? The men that were in power, the CEOs, the rich, whatever, right? The plumber, right? He's not selfish digging in your shit, right? He's not selfish. He's thinking about his family. He's thinking about providing for his family, right? The man that's like hanging on that like 100-foot electric pole isn't selfish. He could die anytime, right? He's thinking about his family. So no, men in general weren't selfish. You thought about the top, the top men, they're selfish. No duh. But that's why women create feminism, because of the top tier men, not because of all general men and average.
Another thing is, men created the nuclear family, that thing that birthed us all. Like, if it wasn't for that originally, none of us would probably be here. Wow, or at least how we are. So, without that working, it's created this, and now that we're doing something different, it's not working as well. But also another thing, I don't think you answered the toxic masculinity, because you focus more on the men. You answered like man on man, but I'm looking at what are the toxic things between a man and a woman.
Spider, you said, but this is a thing where the amount of men, right? The amount of men that died in wars outnumber the selfish men that started it. So still, it just proves the point.
Yeah, so it's not because of women. Then it's not because of the woman's fault. It's because of other men.
No. I'm saying right now.
Yeah.
Right now, while most men are selfish now, that is because of women. That is because of feminism. I'm not saying before. I'm saying right now, yes, men have joined in women's selfishness movement, where they're thinking about themselves.
Okay,
That's,
as long as everybody's being selfish, so okay.
But that's the problem.
I just want to say this.
I talk out against that. I don't believe that we should be selfish, right? I think we should care about each other. I think we should want to create families. I think we should promote families. I think we should stay with, like the nuclear family. We should focus back on that. That is I think that was time of our most enlightenment, less degeneracy, less violence, less all this shit. In my opinion, I think that's the best for society, best for children, best for men and women, less degenerate, less men were like. I have a problem with, like, I learned a stat where almost 50% of U.S. men have an OF account. 50% of men. Wow. So many men are paying for porn when you can watch that shit for free. Yet you're that desperate that you need to pay for it. And that's the problem. Most of these men, I believe, don't have families, don't have kids, don't have significant others. They're lonely ass men.
They're delusional and think they have some sort of personal relationship with this OnlyFans content creator because it feels more personal to buy this. And another thing, with the war thing, would you call the war that separated America from England selfish? Was started by a selfish man? Or was it started by someone who didn't want the UK doing what they did?
No, I think they thought about the people.
Yeah. So not all wars are because someone was selfish, but if these men didn't die in this war, you wouldn't be living the life you had.
Yeah, there's more unselfish men.
I just want to say, I think it's funny how, like,
wait,
us three on the panel.
Wait, big bars before you finish. Zyrex, it's all good, right? You got kids, I know it, right? So it's all good that you got to do what you got to do. But thank you for being here, right? We'll probably finish off soon anyway. So thank you, my sister. All right, big bars. Finish up what you want to say.
I just want to say, I think it's funny how more men, well, Red Door does it too, but I just think it's funny how a person who is on more so of the man side or the red pill side, they will say a man doing something wrong. A man needs to do this. A man needs to do that. But on the other side, they men. It's always men. It's always pointing the finger at men. They never take no responsibility about anything. That is crazy to me. Take responsibility. If you're not, see, that's how I move. If a person is not willing, is not willing to admit a woman does, if a woman is not willing to admit that a woman does anything wrong, get away from her. Get away from her very fast.
Yeah,
you have to. That's crazy. There's no growth in pointing the finger. There's no growth in it. There's no growth in it.
I mean, here's another thing. If it's just selfish men that start wars, what about the women leaders that started wars? I mean, was that because of selfish men? She's a woman starting a war. So, kind of defeats the logic.
Yeah,
I think there was a point in time in our history that there weren't as many selfish people.
Yeah.
And I believe in this time and age, we have probably the most amount of selfish people.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
I looked at what changed. I blame feminism. So that's
there's always
me too.
There's always selfish people. Can't get rid of that. It's a personality trait. I think. Government are mostly selfish, but that's rich. But they make up a very low percentage of people. And there's a lot of people who would die for their community to make sure it went on. And that's it's just there's more people who would do that than anyone who would just pack up and leave all the people they knew.
To me, when somebody takes that position, it lets me know that they're not really well read. They don't know how wars even start. They don't even know. They don't know nothing. They don't know how wars start. They don't know what wars are about. Why they don't know why people go to war. They don't know. They're just going off what somebody tells them. They're going off what somebody tells them. That's what they're doing.
I mean, he can complain. Like he can go on. Spider can go on about men starting wars and wars. Just that those wars were necessary for countries to survive.
Yeah, war. There's a reason why throughout time humans have always, battled.
Right. There's a lot of wars now that aren't necessary. But
do you know how many wars were started over women? How many wars were started over a woman?
Probably most of them between the 12th and 18th century.
A lot of wars were started over a woman.
Yeah, let's see.
And that's crazy work to me. I really believe I'm about to land my plane, but I really think it's crazy that men have went to war and made this decadent society for women and children, and then they turn around and just be disrespectful. I think that's crazy. And it's a saying that if you want to destroy a civilization, you get to the women and children. That's what the saying is.
I just found an interesting percentage here. European history between 1480 and 1913, queens were actually 39% more likely to wage war than kings.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Often to prove themselves or secure territory. To prove themselves, that's a pretty selfish reason right there.
Yeah, I agree.
Secure that territory thing's a different thing. That's all all of them.
All right, guys. I want to give Red Door the last word, and we'll be done. Red Door, what's your final thoughts for tonight?
Well, my final thoughts are I don't blame men for walking away in today's society. And the other thing, I have a degree in behavioral science, so I do a lot of research. I find it interesting that single fathers make better parents than single mothers. So, that says something. And I just don't understand. There are so many crazy women. I saw a woman today say she wouldn't get married unless she got a $75,000 engagement ring.
Bruh.
You know, this is the kind of stuff that's, these women are crazy. They're
Yeah.
just crazy. And I have two neighbors that are, I guess you would call them MGTOW, even though they don't even know what MGTOW is or what it means. But, you know, they're quite happy. They're, you know, I said to one of them, I said, how come you don't decided not to date anymore? He said, because it's not safe. It's not safe in today's world to get involved with a woman. You know, he said, I'm not going to lose my house, my property, my new truck that I buy every 3 years, and all the things I work hard for some crazy woman.
Mm.
You know, you can't blame him. So, you know, it's, and I think, and now these women are going to find out, because it's coming back on them. They're going to find out there's going to be a lot of lonely single women around.
Yeah.
You know, and they're already crying the blues all over TikTok and social media. You know, so, and, you know, I'm a minority woman, and I have never, I'm telling you, I've run across some toxic women before. You know, used to speak at conferences every year on the male suicide rate. And one year, a group of these feminists came in and they were arguing, and they were just, you know, it was basically to talk about the male suicide rate, resources that were available to them. Most of the speakers were men, but I only presented the stats because I keep track of them every year. And a bunch of these feminists got mad at me, and they went outside and keyed my Jeep. You know, that just, they're vile.
Yeah.
They're just vile women. You know, they don't give, they do nothing to help society. In fact, they're destroying it.
Indeed.
So I have watched, because I'm old enough, I have watched, you know, when I was younger, I was like, wow, what is going on out here in the Western world with these women? I watched these waves of feminism, and, you know, in my tribe, women have certain, we've always been allowed to vote, you know, for tribal council and that type of thing. So I have, and throughout my life, I've never felt oppressed. Or, yeah, I've had people make some racist remarks to me, but nothing that I just can't, you know, I just let it roll off my back. And, but most of the men that I have met throughout my years and my career, because I worked for the U.S. Army, for the Department of Defense, so I was mostly working with soldiers, and they're good men, and I don't think women realize, you know, they have created, they're upset because men are walking away. Well, like I said, it's just, it's it's not the odds aren't great, you know. It just isn't, you know, 7 out of 10, you know. So chances are you're gonna end up getting raked over the coals. But that's what I have to say. It makes me feel sad because I have lived a traditional life and I believe in, you know, I joked with my husband and I hunt every year because we have property and land, and we put meat in the freezer and we have a garden. And so I said to my grandson, I said, you know, you need to come over so I can teach you how to gut a deer and skin it and butcher it and put it in the freezer. I think it's time for you to learn some of the ways. But, you know, I feel very fortunate because my children and grandchildren are pretty balanced, and and I just don't understand. I feel bad. My son-in-law and I talk about it because he went home to go to a funeral, and apparently he said, "Oh, it was just typical, you know, funeral in the hood. A bunch of black women got into a fight and the cops showed up, you know." So he said they just don't know how to behave. So,
Okay.
but that's about it. But thank you, gentlemen, for
Oh,
having me on.
Thank you.
Nice you being here.
Thank you.
guys, I love you. Guys, you're
I
amazing.
love you too. Mwah.
All right, guys, that's it for tonight.
Alright.
Thank you guys for being here.
It's good I could finally be here again.
No, I'm hopefully your health continues to improve.
Hopefully the lip balls don't dose me with pneumonia again.
No. All right. Later, my brothers.
Later, man.
Big bars. Love you, my brother.
Peace.
How do I?
Guys, I love you. Spider, I love you. I still love you, right? I love people who would challenge the show, right? I always love people who challenge the channel. Laughing Man, I love you, my brother. Zyrax, thank you, my sister, for being here. It's always nice. Again, I want to promote people to challenge, right? Challenge the opinions of others, right? It's the point, right? Devil's advocate. Challenge opposing opinions, right? Challenge opposing opinions. Be a devil's advocate, right? Guys, you're amazing. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. You guys are all amazing, right? I love you. Please check out my other videos, right? Please comment. Please subscribe if you haven't. Please like. But yeah, that's it for tonight. You guys are amazing. All right. Later, guys.